All right, welcome in everyone. This is our next iteration of our veterans workshop this week. We've had a couple of stuff going on. There's a bunch of different changes, stuff ongoing. I'm currently doing it both on YouTube and on TikTok, so I'm streaming on both platforms right now. You can check us out on mobile for on your phone via TikTok, via YouTube, or you can check it out on a PC or on your computer. Basically, this is just a veteran Q&A that we always have every Sunday. This is what we do just to try to help veterans with their disabilities, their entitlements, their spouses, any kind of education benefits or any benefits of the sort that they may need or may be receiving. This is what we do every Sunday. So it's just basically to inform people and just give people extra information as to what's going on with the news, what the VA is changing, what's going on with the VA, any news that's going on. I did get tagged in. So I apologize to the TikTok people, just in case I don't check in with y'all as much. I am mostly on YouTube. If y'all want to tune in on YouTube, y'all can check me out there and get information from there also, because I have the screen up so that way you can visibly see what's going on, and it'll give you a I'll show you what my information is and where to get the information, so that way you can get it, and it's easier for y'all to see and obtain the information. But the biggest thing right now is there was a news report that came out. I believe it was by American Stripes. It's a some military, I would say, news information that they like to push out information and stuff. And one of the main things that they started talking about was that there was over $100 million in overpayment for veterans. And a lot of people have taken that in a negative way towards veterans. They've seen it as, hey, for a veteran, so y'all have been getting money or y'all have been getting benefits and whatever the case may be. The problem that they're not mentioning is that this is at fault due to the VA. So the VA is at fault here because there's a lot of people that haven't been trained correctly, don't get the information correctly. And a lot of that pertains to it because of the fact that people just see it as, oh, there was $100 million were given out to veterans erroneously. What people think I guess the easiest way to put it is that people think that it's veterans that are just straight up receiving $100 million. That is not the case. It is basically $100 million that is being spread out through various entities and various military personnel or veterans that received payments basically in error. This is also taking into account all those compensation and pension exams, which is called the C&P exams, that have been taken away from veterans or have been put onto veterans erroneously. Because there's a lot of times that veterans are being told, hey, you need to get examined for whatever the case may be. And the case is that a lot of veterans are not being examined for this stuff. And some of them are being asked erroneously to get reevaluated. So if you have an injury through the military, you have the ability to claim it as a disability after the fact. So if you claim it after the fact, you go through the process of basically filing for a disability claim. You have to get examined and evaluated on that disability claim. And from there, they decide, hey, is this linked to your time in service? Is it not linked to your time in service? A lot of the times there's veterans that have stuff that has been linked to their military service. It happened to them while they were in service, and it still gets denied. Then you have a lot of military service members that do deal with the stuff, and then after the fact, they still get denied. So literally there's cases of, like myself, for instance, I suffered a sprained ankle while I was serving in the military. Severe sprain. I went through all the motions, went through physical therapy, went through all the motions while I was still in the military. And then once I got out of the military, I decided to file a disability claim on it. Afternoon. I filed a disability claim on it, basically stating, hey, I have a bad ankle sprain. My ankle has not been the same because, as most people know, it's better to just break your foot than actually to have a sprain because your ankle doesn't come back the same. So I filed for my disability claim for my ankle. Mind you, I had documentation showing that I had sprained it. I had documentation showing that I went to physical therapy for a year and a half. And then when I decided to file, they decided to say that it was not service connected. So basically, I filed with documentation and all that stuff, and they basically said it was not service connected. So I didn't receive a disability for that at first. I had to then go ahead and appeal the VA system to actually get it corrected so that they could look into the documentation and see like, oh, okay, this guy does have a lot of stuff in here. He does have physical therapy. He does have documentation showing that he did get injured while in service, and it's documented, but somehow we got it wrong. So the issue at hand is that happens a lot when it comes to veterans. So when it comes to the VA mispaying or paying out $100 million, it goes into the instance where in some cases, my case, I was denied. In some cases, they might have been approved. So in some cases, they may be doing reevaluations to do that. And a lot of the cases, a lot of this money goes to those contracted evaluators. So a lot of that 100 million is going towards somebody that, hey, we're paying you to see while serving in. So Reno said while serving in Belada, I got so sick with bronchitis from the bumper. Did you get that notated? That's the thing, though, and that's the issue that we have with a lot of veterans. A lot of veterans are not getting the stuff. Yeah, see, that's the problem. A lot of veterans don't have a lot of record with it, and they couldn't get to be able to actually show like, hey, I went to the doctor for this, so this is what happened with me when I went. So that's something that you got to make sure that you're able to, because the thing is as long as you were in those designated areas, you can actually make a claim for it. Now the issue is that what happened or what pertained to it after that fact. So do you have issues with it now? Is it ongoing issues? Have you gotten worse? Have you gotten asthma? Have you gotten any other case? Because the thing is some of those things are being tied to with the PACT Act, because of the PACT Act being added, that you can actually add it on there. So yeah, that's something you should be able to claim, and they should be able to document because of the fact that you have the diagnosis and you have the injury there. The problem is connecting it is what the problem is, that so many veterans have the issue, is the ability to actually connect what you have to your time in service. And that's where we have a problem. It's just like a lot of veterans don't do that because, hey, a lot of veterans, hey, we didn't go to sick call for a bunch of stuff. We didn't go get seen for a bunch of stuff. So a lot of stuff isn't documented from your time while you in the military service. So if your documentation and your stuff isn't there while you were in the military service, that's when you run into an issue, because it's the fact that it's just like, hey, you don't have anything showing that, hey, this happened to me while I was in the military. So that's something that you have to try to find. If it's something like that, in a case like that, you can have somebody, you can have a buddy, because you were out there in that deployment with multiple people. Have them write a buddy statement. Have them write a statement like, hey, I was here on this day, we were deployed in this location and this base. It was in this time frame with this unit. And while I was there, my buddy Reno decided he ended up with bronchitis, and he will do that. And you ended up with bronchitis. You got the stuff. You got it notated. Now you can have multiple people collaborating what you have. Oh, my bad. Sorry. I don't know. I can't tell by the name. I have permanent and total. I said I could work 3 hours a day. No, because the thing is look, when you're permanent and total, there is no limitation to your working ability. Right, no problem. Because that's the thing. A lot of veterans don't get that information. And that's why I do these workshops every Sunday, is to try to educate veterans on how to go about doing stuff. Because if you go ahead and you get those buddy statements from multiple people that can actually show you like, hey, this person was sick, this person did have bronchitis, he wasn't able to go to the doctor or whatever the case, it might be difficult. Thanks for the follow. It might be difficult to prove, but the thing is you have corroborating instances where you have multiple people that were there on the deployment with you, there on the base, at the location, and shit, they might have been assigned to your same unit. If you could get those people to write you a buddy letter, it goes to further the documentation that you have to assist you when it comes to filing. A lot of people don't understand that they need to use their buddy statements. They appreciate the vote. A lot of people don't understand that you get you can add to your file documentation by doing that, by making buddy statements. Because the thing is they may have to do the research to find those, just like, was this person actually there with them or stuff like that. But if the person can go into detail and say, hey, we were in this unit together, we served from this time to this time, we were deployed to Balad in this time period on this thing, on operation whatever shield they actually decided to put it on there. Person got sick. We tried to take them to the thing. They couldn't make it, this, and that, and they just dealt with it. But that's the thing. That's where you're gonna have to try to explain or have them explain like what happened. Because the thing is if you got that bad and you didn't get seen, it got better. So you have to explain how that happened also. So you got to keep that in mind when they ask you those questions. You got to be prepared for it, because they're gonna ask you like, hey, if you got sick, how did you get better? What did you do to get better? And as you do that, then you get that information, and that's how you file. But you have to make sure you have all your documentation together when you're doing that. If you have imagery of the nodules that you have in you now, if you don't, try to get imagery. Try to get some document. You have to show them like, hey, look, I'm not a smoker. I have this, and this developed because of my time during the burn pits while I was there. I didn't know about it. Why? Because nobody knew about it themselves. Shit, the military didn't know. The VA didn't recognize that shit till 2022 when they did this PACT Act to register for burn pits, because they realized, damn, a lot of people were inhaling all this shit, literally. Like literally, they were inhaling all of this shit. So it's just like, okay, now we're noticing as people have gotten older and have come out, it was just like, damn, they're dealing with this shit. They're dealing with that. This is developing into this. That's developing into something else. And now people are starting to realize it, and now the VA is starting to realize it, and that's why they're getting overwhelmed right now with so many people filing for disability claims. Because the thing is just like, hey, if you were, yeah, see, if you got pics, that's perfect. You put that into the documentation. Like a lot of people don't understand that. If you were in Iraq, Afghanistan, or in any of those areas, you're probably around burn pits. You were probably around a air pollution that should not be normal for you to be around. Plain and simple. So now if you were in those areas and you were in those locations, that is an issue that you're going to deal with going forward. So now the VA is starting to actually recognize it, like, oh, okay, these people got this. They might develop this now. The same thing with, like, look at the veterans. Appreciate the Rose. With veterans of the Vietnam era, Korean War era, but mostly the Vietnam ones, because those are the ones you usually see in the VA now. It's usually the Vietnam vets that are there, stuck there, and they're the ones dealing with a lot of them. You see a bunch of them like wheelchairs, all beat the fuck up. It was just like a lot of them didn't go to the VA because they had bad experiences the first go round. Which I have he was a colonel that I speak to, and he got out. He got out quite some time. He went to Vietnam at 18 twice. Went back to back. Came back, did time in the National Guard, got to colonel, retired. But the man told me about the story of when he went to Vietnam. He went to Vietnam, did all that, came back, served his time, and then what they tried to do was, because the thing is people fail to acknowledge, in the 70s there wasn't the same technology. What do you think about draft dodgers? They draft dodgers. You can't do shit about them. They're female dogs. That's what I'll say to that. Especially if you knew they were supposed to be there. You're a female dog. But what was I saying? It was just like he went through all that, but the thing is people forget that the technology has not advanced. Well, has advanced drastically in the last 50 or so odd years. When it came to checking for people's back issues back in the day, it was a spinal tap. So they actually went into your back and pulled out fluid to see what the fluid was and how it was looking. We don't need to do all that now. We got MRIs and shit to do that. So he went through that, and he went through that experience, and he was like, bro, I'm not coming back again after that. And this dude is like, he's hurting to walk at times. He walks with sticks. And if you see a lot of Vietnam veterans, they're dealing with that. There's a bunch of Vietnam veterans that were around the Agent Orange, which doesn't get enough representation for or doesn't get spoken about. And then, yeah, I wouldn't. That's what I'm saying. I don't blame him either, because it's just like, but that's the problem is that the VA has improved. There's certain VAs that are just straight up terrible. Certain VAs that are straight up terrible, and there's certain VAs in certain places that are actually pretty damn good and take care of you. It's just depending on who's running that VA. The thing is there's no accountability for it. Because the thing is, if you had one bad experience, it doesn't mean that the next time you go, you're going to have another bad experience. Now, if you continuously go and you keep on having bad experiences, that's where something has to be done and said and reported to higher entities to do that. Yeah, same time. Yeah, they can. They can. They still a female dog, but they can. Hey, Reno, no problem. Just keep that in mind. Get all your documentation straight and file for it. Make sure that you providing it as a PACT Act claim. If you have to, go talk to a VSO, a Veteran Service Organization, talk to the BFW, talk to the American Legion, talk to Disabled American Veterans, talk to what's the other one? The Wounded Warrior Project. All of these organizations are nonprofit organizations that are there to try to assist you, to try to get you your claims and all that stuff. But that's the thing that people don't understand. It's just like a lot of that stuff is just they're unaware of what's going on. People don't hear the information from where it needs to. Like, veterans don't hear most information. Veterans don't get anything or hear anything till it's after it's already been implemented or a change has drastically changed what is going to happen with them. And that's what a lot of people need to understand. When it comes to anything of the sort, it's just like, hey, you need to make sure you're providing information to the VA, or the VA should make it like a thing like, hey, if something's going to change, we need to make sure we're letting all veterans know what's changing. Like this whole mental health evaluation thing. People have been talking about mental health evaluations changes for years now. And everybody, and the problem I have with that is that a lot of the people on YouTube that have channels like mine tend to just like gaslight veterans to let them know like, oh shit, hey man, you need to file because there's an incoming change. These people have been doing this to veterans for 2 years, scaring them, saying like, oh, there's going to be changes to the mental health evaluation. Actually, something came out that says, hey, there is going to be a change. It's set for April of 2025. Now, that doesn't mean that it's going to get implemented in April of 2025. What it means is that it's going to happen, or a final action will happen in 2025 of April that may change how depression gets rated, anxiety gets rated, insomnia gets rated, PTSD gets rated. The ratings may change depending on how they think it should be changed, but it's not going to be an action that just gets automatically put. It has to be changed and put into the Code of Federal Regulations to allow it to actually be noticed. Now, if the Code of Federal Regulations changes that, once they put, hey, on effective date, hey, mental health diagnosis or mental health ratings is changing on this day, that's the official day that it's going to change. It's not going to be a different thing. It'll be on an official day. It has it as April of 2025 is when they plan to have a final action to actually, that's basically the deadline the VA is giving itself. Like, hey, April of 2025, we will have an action done to provide people with mental health awareness. Now, as we've seen before, it's been ongoing since 2022 with mental health awareness or mental health diagnosis or ratings. That is going to change when it's on an effective date. And that's what people need to realize. This is just the deadline that the VA is giving itself to make an action, to actually make the changes. But that does not mean that there will be an actual change to your mental health ratings. Another thing that bothers me is that a lot of veterans already have a mental health rating. If you have a mental health rating, that is grandfathered in. It's not going to change. They're not going to go back and just retroactively, it was like, oh, well, this is new. Let's come back and change all these people. No, this is something that basically once the mental health evaluations for veterans changes and it's notated and the effective date has passed, from there on, any mental health evaluation that occurs will change according to the new regulation or the new change, the new policy. It is not going to go and check all these other veterans that, hey, if you already got PTSD, you already got depression, anxiety, all that stuff, they're not going to go back and just be like, you know what? We need to make sure to check everybody's stuff. The VA can barely check people right now filing for actual disability correctly, let alone have them go and try to backtrack and try to figure out everybody else's disability on there. Jay, thank you for the follow. And it's just like people, good afternoon, Sharon. And people need to realize that when it comes to those disability ratings and that stuff, it's just like there's changes that are gonna change. The thing is do we know what these changes are? Nobody actually knows what the exact changes are for the mental health evaluations because they're not stating that. The thing is hey, if you're gonna file a mental health evaluation now, make sure you go get yourself checked. Make sure you go get yourself some documentation. Make sure you talk to a therapist, a counselor, a psychiatrist, whoever it is that you're talking to, get the stuff notated and have it documented so that, hey, in case on April 2025, they say, look, we decided on the changes we're going to do, and these changes will take into effect, let's say June or July of next year, or maybe of the same year, because remember, they made changes to the digestive system when it came to GERD, IBS, and all that stuff. They made changes to that, and it was like a three-month difference between when they announced it was going to happen and then when it actually came into an effective date. Thing is like with most people didn't even know that GERD and IBS had changes on the disability rating. A lot of people did not know that. A lot of people don't know that change has been implemented. But that's the same thing with the mental health thing. Changes are coming when they have an action date of April 2025. Is that the date? No, that is just an action date for them to actually get their stuff done. Now we're just basically waiting for that to change, because once that changes, then you're better off. So the change is basically for mental health evaluation. So in the Code of Federal Regulations, Title 38, Chapter 4, Part 1, it is a schedule of ratings for disabilities. So when you go to file a disability claim through as a veteran, you basically have that information. It basically tells you and highlights you, hey, what do you need to meet certain criteria to get paid at a certain percentage? So for mental health evaluations, it basically showcases that, and it'll tell you like, hey, to have 10%, you basically have something that affects you and you've been diagnosed with, but isn't a big thing. When you're at 30%, it's just like, oh, okay, it affects you where sometimes you may have slight memory loss or we have changes like that. Yeah, so it's basically for those trying to get their rating. So basically the rating change is going to happen after, whenever that goes into effect. Anybody after that point, when they file, will fall under the new criteria. If you already got your rating and you already got your stuff, you ain't got nothing to worry about when it comes to changes. And that's what a lot of people, that's what I think a lot of YouTube channels do, that they gaslight people into like, oh shit, you got to be prepared. Oh, your rating's going to change? No, they're not going to go back and do that. Because then if that's the case, they would be doing that for every single time there's a change. Like I said, with the digestive system, if you have IBS or you had GERD or whatever other changes are in there, they would go back and reevaluate you on. They're not going to do all that. The VA don't have, like I said, the VA don't have the correct resources to actually assist people now and get the shit right the first time, let alone they're going to go back and check all veterans' disability ratings and try to fix those. So what they're basically doing is like, hey, when we institute a new change, from that day forward, anybody that files falls under the new criteria. Now, let's say you decide to like file for an increase when it comes to well, I don't even want to use mental health because that one still isn't there. Like I said, for the digestive issues, like if you had GERD or you had IBS, there's a couple other things that changed. I gotta see if I forget where I put it. But there's a couple of other things that changed, and it's just like, what are they looking for the rating? That's the thing, Sharon. They don't explain that, and that's what I think worries a lot of veterans, is that explanation isn't given to anybody. So they don't know. Nobody knows exactly what the changes are. Everybody's been insinuating and saying, oh, they might change this, they might change that. It's going through the VA review board basically on who they want to talk to basically psychiatrists and stuff like that, and change it. I'm a regional office retiree. I tell veterans to look at their narrative letter. It tells you exact. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, my bad. I missed that. But yeah, that's information that they say they're looking for. But the thing is you also got to tell them like the Title 38 is where a lot of that information is in depth in, and that's where they'll find like the exact criteria of what it is. Now, the exact criteria may mean different things. Not everybody has the same levels of depression. Not everybody has the same levels of anxiety. Not everybody has a thing. But the Title 38 solidifies it and says like, hey, if you meet these requirements, that's how you get a percentage. But at the same time, it's not always that simple because people need to realize you need to be diagnosed with it. You need to have documentation showing that. You need to have all that information that actually qualifies and shows you like, hey, this is what you have. This is what you got diagnosed with. This is how severe it is and stuff like that. Like for me, in my case, I just had depression and anxiety. When I actually went and spoke to the therapist, they was like, no, bro, you got PTSD. And I was just like, oh, okay. I was just like, are you you're gonna ask, are you sure I have PTSD? And it's just like, well, this is the symptoms, this is the stuff, this is what you're showing, these are your symptoms, this is all you've explained to me and what we've been talking over, and these are clear signs of PTSD. And I was like, oh, okay. So what did I go ahead and do? I went and I filed for an increase and I filed for PTSD. And then they increased it and I got an increase through that. But it was why? Because I got the documentation, I got the diagnosis, and I spoke to basically my therapist, and my therapist was like, hey, you got PTSD. And then it was just like, oh, okay. Then he switched me to another therapist that specializes in PTSD stuff. And that right there also showed documentation that it was just like, hey, I went to talking to a regular therapist to now, hey, this is a person that specializes in PTSD. That is also in the documentation. And yes, paperwork is the most important thing for veterans, and veterans don't understand that. But the thing is there's so many different pieces of paperwork you can do. Like I said, buddy statements is one of the things that most people overlook and don't do that. And it's just like people don't understand that. And it's just like that's something that people need to understand. It's just like you have the ability to obtain your disability ratings. You have to do it the correct way. I made a video on that on YouTube. It's just like when you file, win your claim. Because the thing is a lot of people are filing disability claims, but they're not doing it in a manner that actually supports what they have. If you just go, hey, my back has been hurting, and you file for lower back or upper back, but don't have no documentation, don't have no diagnosis from an actual doctor, because it doesn't have to be through the VA. It could be an outside source, a private doctor, and they say, yes, this dude is having back spasms, his discs are bulging, then you got the MRI and the x-ray showing that, then you present that to the VA, then it's okay. Now, how is this tied to the military service? And that's where a lot of people get hemmed up because they don't have a nexus letter. A lot of people don't know what a nexus letter is. It's just like, that's a document from a medical professional basically giving you the information and stating, yes, the injury or whatever is going on with said person happened due to the fact that, hey, this is service connected to their time in the military. So this back injury came from the issues of running, rucking, jumping out of planes, or this one incident that he had in service, which is notated in service, and it's gotten progressively worse over time. So that's the stuff that people need to realize and understand, that all that documentation goes a long way to assist veterans. Assist yourself. You have to make it without a doubt, show the VA like, look, this is what's going on with me. This is what I have. This is the issue. And then you also make sure you're referencing Title 38, Chapter 1, Part 4, so that it tells you like, hey, this is what it has. The 1151 claims, I believe that's the one. The 1151 claims, I believe, are the ones that is just like when the VA does an error. Is that one? VA got so many damn forms. Like VA has so many damn forms, but it's just like, I believe that, yes. So with that one, it's just also you gotta document what you say. The malpractice, you have to state what is going on and what happened. If person said like, look, because the thing is there's certain things that have to happen when a CMP examiner is examining you. There's certain things that have to happen. Hey, Seven, what's up? So I forget what the little thing is called. It looks like a little protractor. Well, not a protractor. What the hell is it called? It's the little thing that they have that shows like the angles that you have. I forget what the hell the thing is called. If you already P&T, like you can file for it, but then it might lead to a reevaluation because it's just like if you have malpractice. But that's something that you could do to just basically report a person as doing it wrong in the first place. Let me see. I'm 1151. I'm searching for it right now. See, because that's why I do this on. Why isn't it showing up? And that's why I hate looking stuff up on the VA site because of the fact that a lot of the stuff is not on there. So, and that's why I do the stuff here. Like I do it on YouTube and on TikTok, but on TikTok it's off the phone. On YouTube, I actually highlight and show the picture of what's going on there. So if you check it on YouTube, it'll show you like, hey, I'll show you the video, what I'm actually seeing, and that way I can actually show you. Because it's like, look, I went to find a VA form on the va.gov website, and I typed in what? 1151. 77, appreciate you sharing the live. And Sharon, thank you for sharing it. I just found it on an MRI 3 months ago. Wow. A lot of veterans don't give a damn about veterans benefits for life. Just survive normal life. The thing is I wouldn't say that a lot of veterans don't care. I think the biggest issue with veterans is that veterans are not aware. I think that's what people don't understand. It's just like it's not that a lot of veterans don't care. A lot of veterans don't know half of the damn benefits that they actually can have. A lot of like, look. I do these lives every Sunday. It was, I think, 2 Sundays ago. I spoke to a veteran that he had been P&T for 15 years. So 100% P&T for 15 years. He did not know about the Dependents Education Assistance Program. He didn't know that his kid could receive a stipend while going to school. Tax-free. He didn't know about that. If I need to get a hold of you about helping a friend get started on his benefits. Hey, Raven, what's up? Just let me know. Just let me know. I was just like, if he got questions, you can send them on to these lives also, because that's what I do on Sundays. It's always one of these. It's just like, if you got questions, ask away. Any questions y'all have, y'all ask. And like I said, it's easier on YouTube for me because if you ask a question, I can highlight the question. Everybody can see it. Like on TikTok is tough because it's off my phone. I can't do none of that. I can't highlight your message or something like that. Or I can pin it, but it's only for like 60 seconds. On YouTube, I can show you everything of the sort. I can pull up the page. I can show you exactly what I'm looking at. So I can show you in depth, like, hey, this is where you go. This is where you find the information. And this is where it's at. But yeah, if it comes to anything like that, you just let me know. I answer questions. If people got questions, I answer them. I try to get people their thing. But like I said, it's not that veterans don't care. It's that veterans don't know. Like I said, if you go 15 years of being 100% P&T and didn't know that your kid, once they hit, they can actually receive it while they're in high school at 18. They can start receiving that monthly stipend. People don't understand that. There's certain criteria you have to fit. But at 18, at 100% P&T, your kid can start receiving a stipend while they're still in high school or the senior year in high school. A lot of people don't know about that part. But then they also don't know going forward. He likely qualifies for VA benefits but doesn't have time or energy to fight to get them. Raven, he's going to have to make the time. He's going to have to make the energy because in order to file for VA disability, you have to be prepared when it comes to making your stuff. 7, yes, I am. And thank you. Thank you for the support. But he has to make the time to get documentation, get imagery, get diagnosis, get a nexus letter. Like there's a bunch of stuff that goes into it to getting veteran benefits. It's not just you just go onto the site or go and log in and just click and be like, yeah, I got this, and that, and just send it off. You have to have your documentation and your paperwork to assist you when it comes to filing those claims. If you don't do that, you're not going to go far. Let me see if it's malpractice. Sharon, I'm trying to find the 1151 form, but on YouTube, you can, if you're on YouTube, you can see I'm searching for it. Malpractice doesn't show up. 1151, you search for it, it gives you two options. It gives you disability compensation, which that shit, the number don't even get close to it. And then, or is it this one? Let me see, because it's under 1151. No, this is different. But the 1151 is basically highlighting and showing people like, hey, there was malpractice that happened. This is what happened. This is when it happened. And that's what you got to show for it. But if you are a veteran and you are trying to file for disability benefits, you must ensure that you have the proper documentation to back anything you are trying to do. Any disability claim you are trying to make, you have to have documentation for it. It's like an obligation to do so. You have to have it. There's no way around that. I was just like, yeah, I know a lot of people aren't. Look, nobody's excited to deal with the VA. Plain and simple. Nobody's excited to deal with the VA. Nobody wants to make sure they got the paperwork. A lot of people don't want to file and then file for their first time, and then what ends up happening, it gets denied. And the problem is a lot of people don't understand. It's just like you can appeal denials. Just because you got 0 or denied, that doesn't mean it's the end of the light for it. It means that, hey, if you know there was something done wrong, if there was information that was incorrectly filed or they didn't read it, I got a little guest appearance, y'all. Guest appearance. That was a little guest appearance by my daughter. But yeah, it's just like a lot of that stuff people need to realize that you need to file and you need to have that documentation. Any medical information that you can actually provide that highlights the stuff is just like, that's what you need. Injuries. But like I said, buddy statements are not the biggest and the heaviest thing to use. But a buddy statement can go a very long way because you can have different people corroborating your story saying, hey, you got injured because of this. This injury happened because of that. I was there when this person got injured. I was there on that day. A buddy statement, Raven, a buddy statement is basically, let me see, hold on. A statement, basically it says a statement in support of a claim. So basically, it is form 21-4138. Let me see if I can download it real quick. Yeah. So if on YouTube I have it, let me see. I think I can. That's the thing. That's why I say I don't like doing it on TikTok as much because of the fact that I can put the link in to the PDF on my YouTube. So if somebody needs that form on the thing, no, it does not have to be a medical professional. This is a claim, basically a statement of claim, basically from whoever. Could be a spouse, could be your wartime buddy, could be somebody you deployed with, somebody you were around. Them basically making a statement of like, hey, this is. So let's say whatever they're claiming, that statement is to corroborate what they're stating. So basically, you had that back injury when that dude fell off the damn LMTV because he jumped or something happened, hit a bump and he fell off or whatever the case, and that's how he got injured. That would be you putting a statement saying like, hey, on this date, I served with this person for this long. I was in this location, in this installation. I was in this unit with them. We were on this training mission. And shit, if you got the name for the training mission and all that stuff, you put all that information in there. I was there on this day when we were on this training mission, when we were on that vehicle and the vehicle rolled over or whatever, and he fell off and he hurt his back on there. We went that day and we went through this stuff, and you putting all that stuff in there. He's got bad back and bad knees. His knees have been twice and he sees a chiropractor. So you have to, so with that documentation, so basically he already has documentation and record of injuries there. The issue is that those same doctors are going to have to provide what you call a nexus letter. A nexus letter is a document from that medical professional saying that the injuries that he's gotten because of his knees and the surgeries he's gotten because of his knees were caused due to his time in the military. So that doctor has to write a statement basically connecting his injury to his time in service and why it happened in service. Because the thing is if he has those injuries and he doesn't have that documentation showing like, hey, this is how they got injured, this is when it happened, this is the reason why I diagnosed them with like messed up knees or whatever the medical terminology is because of his time in service, and this is when it happened. So you have to make sure that you're putting that information in there so that information is there through the medical provider. So the medical provider on that part is helping you get that done. And then a buddy statement can be on top of that, like, hey, like I said, having a buddy that was there when these injuries happened or something happened goes a long way. Because now if you have a medical provider saying like, hey, I diagnosed him with this and this and that, he gets seen for this and that, and then you have a buddy that was there just like, yeah, I was there when he messed up his knees or stuff like that. Now you have two different documents that are basically highlighting the fact that, hey, this service member probably got these injuries while in service. Yeah, and that's what it is. Those letters go a long way. It's just that a lot of veterans don't know to put those letters in there. It might help, it might not, but most chances are it's gonna help better because of how detailed that information is on there, saying, hey, this person got injured. This person got injured because of this. It happened on this date. This is the documentation. Here's my medical imagery showing how bad my knees are, how bad my back is. This is a nexus letter from the doctor saying, hey, this happened because of his military time and service, whether it was rucking, running, jumping out of planes or whatever incident. And then you provide your medical records if you can get your medical records also, which everybody should be able to obtain a copy of their medical records. I have to figure out exactly how you do that once you've been out, because I know there's a lot of people that have been out for quite some time. Then they decide to do their ratings. Hey, Cam Loco, appreciate you, man. Cam Loco says, hey, Just Cruz, just stopping through to show support. All of us veterans appreciate the time and knowledge you give every day, every Sunday. I appreciate it, man. I'm just here, man, trying to assist everybody, man. That's all it is. I'm trying to help us out. Trying to help us veterans out because a lot of veterans are just not aware. And that's the biggest issue. That veterans are not aware. They don't get this information. They don't obtain this knowledge. They don't know where to go to get it either sometimes. So that's why it's just like doing these and finding these and doing it on YouTube where I can show you my screen and do it like that. It goes a long way to actually solidify a person's claim and get them benefits or entitlements that assist them, their family, and their future, basically. Is it possible to do a medical power of attorney to get permission to help with organizing that? I don't know, Raven, because that's the thing. That would be something that you would have to talk with him, and he or she would have to sign off on you trying to obtain his documentation. I don't think that's going to work because a lot of veterans, if they're still living and they're still able-minded and able-bodied to actually carry out the stuff, I don't know if that'll work. That would have to be something you would have to get a power of attorney signed off by him saying that, yes, he's allowing you to get his records and stuff like that. It's possible, but I say it's difficult because unless he's like in a coma or like mentally ill that he cannot do it himself, you might get some pushback. A POA, the thing is Raven, if you're using a POA to try to obtain the information, when you file for the disability, the POA doesn't really matter at that point. Because the thing is the POA is for you to obtain the information. When you're filing for the VA disability, you're uploading those documentations. So whatever you find in the medical records and all that stuff, you're just uploading it. So it doesn't really matter unless you're filing if you're filing the claims for him, then I would suggest, if you're going to do the POA, do it that way. But then I would suggest going through a veteran service officer, because they would be able to direct you in a better way because of the fact that you are doing this for somebody and it is not the service member themselves. Because most of the time, the VA deals with the veteran themselves and not somebody else obtaining the information to get the veteran to get to do something. See what I'm saying? So that makes it it makes it tricky in that manner to try to do that. So that's why you have to make sure it's just like, if you can get him to go talk to a VSO, a veteran service organization, like I said, if you have an American Legion around you or a BFW post, because some things is like spread all over the place. When I joined the VFW, it was in Germany. It was an old man. It was an old man that walked around. His name was Donald. This dude was like maybe like 80 something, pushing 80s easily. And this dude would walk around the installation, going building to building, and he would just stop by and look, and he saw a combat patch on you. He'd be like, "Hey man, have you thought about joining the VFW?" I was like, "No." And then he'll keep on, he literally walked around. This dude could barely make it upstairs. He would go onto the second floor and just, hey, you see, he saw a combat patch. He went and he was just like, you know what? Let me ask him if they wanted to join. I joined, the reason being because my unit, what we did while we were over there, we had firefighters in our unit. So what the firefighters did, there was a orphanage that they had. So it was a joint thing that the VFW did with the orphanage. And what we did was, it was just like our firefighters would take the trucks, take it to the orphanage, do a little thing with the orphaned kids, and just basically, let them play in the truck, sound the horn, turn on the lights and all that stuff. And they did all that stuff. And that's something that the VFW did in Germany with people. They do a bunch of different stuff also. And like I said, there's a ton of nonprofit organizations. And if you go on the VA site, if you go on the VA site, on the va.gov site, all you got to do is go to the search bar on the va.gov site, go to the search bar, type in VSO. And the first link that it'll show you, it'll say find a VA accredited representative or VSO. You can click on that, and from there you can hit the search. You hit search and it'll find a accredited VSO or representative that is accredited and recognized by the Veteran Affairs Administration or the Department of Veteran Affairs. And then from there you can go highlight. There's usually people, the thing is that sometimes not every county has one, not every state has one, but you may have to go farther or something like that to do it, which you may have to contact them over the phone. I think it's easier if you're in person, because then you can see the person, they can put a face to it and they do it. But you also got to remember, all VSOs ain't great. The VA isn't also great, but the more documentation and the more prepared you are to file for documentation, file for benefits and entitlements, the easier your situation will be. Like I said, you can have all the documentation and everything provided, and you can still get denied. Fucking crazy to me, but you can still get denied. Then you have to go through the appeal process, which takes time and stuff like that. But the thing is as a veteran, you got to ensure that you are not giving up when it comes to filing for your disability claims. Do not give up. Just because you get a denial does not mean, hey, you got to give up and I don't want to do this no more. It's just like, look, they said no. That's not the case. If you know you have an injury, it was caused by the military, keep fighting it. There's people that have been fighting the VA for years. like 10 plus years filing for documentation, filing for increases, dealing with appeals, because stuff like that. Like, and the thing is, like I said, on YouTube on Sundays, it's just like there's so many veterans that I happen to come across, and I have conversations of them where they're dealing with these issues, and they've been dealing with these issues for years. But then the best thing is like when somebody messages you and you're like, hey, I just got 100%. I'm 100% PNT now. That's the best thing. That's the best feeling I can get, is knowing that, hey, you made it there. That's it. And I was just like, hey, if I had some part in assisting, I'm glad. If I didn't, I'm glad anyway, because it's just basically at the end of the day, you got what you deserved, and those were your benefits and your entitlements. A lot of veterans just don't know that, and a lot of people don't go and talk to them. A lot of people don't understand that when it comes to that it's just like there's a lot of stuff in there that happens that people need to realize and pay mind to. That it's just like it's not that you're just automatically going to get denied. It's the fact that you have to make sure you are ensuring you are doing the right thing. My dad was a Vietnam vet and he never used any services. Oh, trust me, Raven, I know. I talked to a bunch of Vietnam vets. Their mindset was just like, I don't need the help. It was ingrained in them that they don't need it. But there's a lot of benefits that you as a dependent of a Vietnam veteran war, you can get a lot of benefits from there because of your dad being a veteran. I have heard healthy, active soldiers talk about wanting to disability. The thing is Rebecca, the thing is like, look, the way I see it is if you join whatever service it is, no matter what service you join, if you join the military, you don't come out the same. Even after he has passed, Raven, the issue there is so it's called DIC. Let me look it up for you. Dependence and indemnity compensation. If you're the surviving spouse, child, or parent of a service member who died in the line of duty, or the survivor of a veteran who died from a service-related injury or illness, you may be able to get a tax-free monetary benefit called VA dependency and indemnity compensation. Well, it's like the thing, Rebecca, is just like with a lot of it. So, Raven, you may need to go and talk to a VSO. Find, if you're gonna help your buddy, help yourself out. Ask him what you may need to see if you can file for something like that. It's called DIC. You talk to a VSO, he's gonna know what you're talking about. The DIC can prepare you, but the thing is if he didn't go to the VA and never got any benefits or anything like that, it may be. That's why I say talking to a thing. Talk to a VSO, because basically what you can do is if that heart attack was caused because of some conditions that he had because of the military, you may be able to receive those payments. Now, if it wasn't, that's where you may have an issue, but then that's when you have to talk to a VSO. And Rebecca, the thing is just like, look, a lot of veteran, like if you decide to join the military, you don't come out the same. No matter how long, how short, you don't come out the same. Those people that went through basic training and either broke themselves so bad that they couldn't continue, they didn't come out the same because they got broken while they were in basic training. A lot of service members, you see it, like, look, you see a lot of it on TikTok. A lot of TikTok TikTok has been actually pushing a lot more military people to my feed. The thing is the negative stuff I keep seeing about the military. I saw a lieutenant that was talking about she had a essay happen to her and she was denied promotion because she had a thing because they filed a fake document on her name. And there was another one that it was like a staff sergeant that she reported somebody and something happened and she didn't get picked up for her stuff also because she basically made a claim, but it wasn't found to be the There's nothing to prove it. But a lot of the times, it's a lot of injustices that happen from the top that they look out for those people at the top and they disregard what that lower enlisted might have said or what they might claim or what happened. The amount of times that you hear all those stories and you see that, hey, this service member went through this and they went and they filed the claim. They went through the correct channels and all that stuff. And next thing you know, what happens? That service member gets moved across the installation to another unit. And then they come with that. Mentality of when that new unit gets them, it's just like, oh, this is the person that made that accusation. So instead of you actually getting a clean slate or something, you get put with something like that. And now you have that label on you when you went through something like that. And there's many instances where it's just like, yeah, people deal with a lot of stuff through the military that happens, but it doesn't get notated because the military doesn't want to notate it, or the military doesn't want to have to do anything with that. And that's the issue at hand that a lot of people don't understand. That when filing for claims, you have to have all your ducks in a row to make sure that you have your disability claims in line. You have to have the documentation, but the thing is a lot of veterans don't have the knowledge. It was just like, yeah, some people can be able-bodied and they might say they might get benefits. The thing is it's not going to work that easy. If you're able-bodied and don't have injuries, you're not just going to get 100% P&T. Plot, my man, with the votes, always coming in here showing love. And it's just like, people need to understand that. It's just like, and that's another thing. I say this, and a lot of people don't agree with me. A lot of people will be upset when I say that. It's just like, not everybody deserves 100% P&T. Plain and simple. Not everybody deserves 100% P&T because not everybody has the same issues. Not everybody went through the same issues. Not everybody got hurt. Not everybody went through a traumatic experience. Not everybody got deployed. So it depends on where you're at and where you're going. Did you get the wall tiles custom made? Oh, these here? I made those myself, Plot. All those, I made those myself. Those are all custom. They are custom made, but I custom made them. I was thinking, I'm thinking I should start a shop just making those. I might do that. I'm looking into it. I got the stuff I need for it. It's just like, how do I go about doing it and making it so that it's actually perfect when I do it? That's the only thing I have to work on. But that's one of the things right there that I did. I made all of those. Those are my emotes that I have on Twitch, have them on YouTube, have them there on TikTok also. If people subscribe, that's the stuff I have. And those are just like custom made wall panels I have. But yeah, that's the thing. A lot of people, there's a lot of veterans that go through a bunch of stuff, don't get the information they need, and they're hurting for it. Like I said, there's so many benefits. There's a lot of, I wouldn't say there's so many benefits, but there's a lot of benefits that veterans can take advantage of and use during their time in service. Shit, there's stuff you could do while you're still on active duty. You can get yourself a degree. You can get credentialing while on active duty. And people don't know about that either. You can get the credentialing assistance, which basically you can get a credentialing for damn near anything. Because I believe you can use up to $4,000 per year. Oh, Plot with the subscription. My man. Appreciate you, my man. I was just like, you get benefits like that while in service. You could get I finished my bachelor's degree while I was in active duty. I didn't have to use my GI Bill. It took some time, but I got my bachelor's degree while on active duty, while serving. Live, direct, active duty, got my bachelor's degree. Then what am I doing now? Now I'm using my GI Bill to get my master's degree. What a lot of people don't know is that there's also the vocational rehabilitation and education program, the VRE program, which basically does the same thing as the GI Bill, and you don't have to use your GI Bill. You just have to make sure that you are using it to, and you have to explain it to them as like, hey, this is for employment. So, hey, if you want to go, if you have your bachelor's degree, or you may want to get a bachelor's degree, you can go talk to, I forget who it is you have to talk to. It's through the va.gov. You can go on va.gov and check it. It'll tell you what you have to do, what you have to file. You have to basically apply for it. And if you fall in line to basically be eligible, you get contacted by a VA educator from the education program, and they basically assist you in filing for that. So basically, like, hey, some of y'all may want to go ahead and try to get your bachelor's degree. Because, hey, you're working in, let's say, cybersecurity, let's say, which is a growing field. Or the AI thing, growing field. You can go through the VRE and just be like, hey, I want to get a bachelor's degree in cybersecurity, because this is what I want to do. So what is the VRE going to do? The VRE sets you up to basically send you to school to get that accreditation or that bachelor's degree, which will help you get employment, because of the fact that why? If you have a cybersecurity degree, it's a lot easier to get a job than you just wanting to get into cybersecurity. So basically that VRE program allows you to obtain that. Love, good morning. And then that's something that is just like, you can get that. And if you're going to school and you're not paying for it and you can get a bachelor's degree as a veteran, that's a plus. I'm doing that through my GI Bill. I'm getting my master's degree through my GI Bill. Now, I'm going to try to see, maybe I go and get my PhD. If I try to go get my PhD, I'm going to try to use the VRE program, because it's just like, hey, there's a lot of jobs out here that are willing to pay pretty good dollar, right? With public administration or government stuff. If I go and I try to get my PhD in like veteran affairs or something, or public policy doing with veteran affairs, that is something that allows me to get a PhD as long as I fit the criteria. They will pay for my PhD for me to obtain employment as, hey, this is the employment I'm looking to get. Or if it's like, hey, human resources, another big and always ongoing job. You want to get your bachelor's, your master's, you can go through that. You want to become a plumber. You want to become an electrician. You want to become, look, I have a friend right now that just finished going through jewelry school. He is now a licensed jeweler. And he went to school to become a jeweler. Making rings, necklaces, bracelets, and all that stuff. And that was through the VRE program that it was paid, while receiving a monthly stipend, like basically kind of like how the housing allowance is. You receive that also through there at the same time. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff that people don't. There's a lot of information and a lot of stuff that veterans don't know that they can do. But like I said, you can come out with a PhD after your time in service, and you could only serve those 4 years. You could have served that one contract, and you could have worked on getting your bachelor's while you were on your first contract, and it was getting paid. You could have gotten credentialing assistance, which is $4,000. It's $4,000 a year capped that you can use to get credentialing assistance. It's $4,000 a year, and it is an uncapped number. So it's $4,000 a year throughout your whole time in the military service. A lot of active duty service members don't know that. That's why it's like to try to get that information out to them also. But there's a lot of stuff that you can do, and a lot of stuff that people don't realize. It's just like that keeps on coming together. There's a lot of stuff that helps you prepare for your future, prepare for your kids' future, prepare for your family's future. There's tax exemptions. There's education benefits, because some schools and some states, every state, look, all states are not created equal when it comes to veteran benefits. But for some, it's just like, hey, you can obtain schooling for free in certain ones. Some of them, they give you a scholarship. Some of them are grants. Some of them is just like, hey, your spouse can go to school for free. And it's just like people need a understand that information. They need to realize that all these benefits are out there. The thing is that we have to make sure that we're educating veterans to notify them like, hey, this is what's going on. This is the information you can find. This is the benefit that you have not obtained or managed, or I wouldn't say taken advantage of, because it's something that's there for you. You just haven't been aware to actually know like, hey, this is a benefit that you receive as a veteran. For some benefits are once you get to 100% P&T, so when you're 100% permanent and total. It doesn't count when you're TDIU, which is the unemployability one. It doesn't count the temporary, and it doesn't count the scheduler one. The difference between those is when you're 100% temporary, it's usually because of surgery, or basically you're going to have surgery and they know you're going to be 100%. Yeah, love is from California. And it's just like, that's 100%. You got the scheduler, which basically is like you got to 100%, you're rated at 100%, but the VA doesn't see it as static, which means that they know the issues are going to get worse. They see it as your 100% scheduler, but they gave you the 100% rating, but it's not permanent in total, because they think it and they see it as, hey, you got all these ratings to 100%, but chances are you are not going to keep 100%. Because they're going to reevaluate you. The TDIU is the temporary, the unemployability one, which you get 100%, which is that you have a rating of 70% and another one of at 40%. And it's basically because of those injuries or ailments, you cannot work or gain employment. Then they pay you at that 100%. And then you have the P&T, which is permanent and total, where it's just like the VA knows is like, hey, you have static issues, which they know are not going to improve and are most likely going to worsen over time. So they give you the 100% permanent total. If there are all these benefits available, how come we have so many homeless veterans, in your opinion? So the question from Carlos is, you have to keep reaching for a plot, because they're there. The thing is a lot of people just fail to actually keep on trying because of the fact that it's just like they hear that. If there are, the question from Carlos was, if there are all these benefits available, how come we have so many homeless veterans, in my opinion? The reason for that, Carlos, is we have so many homeless veterans because a lot of homeless veterans, or a lot of veterans, are not aware of all this stuff. Like you said, we have all these benefits available, but if you ask any of these homeless veterans, they will not be able to give you an answer. Like the stuff I mentioned already, those are some of the benefits. But a lot of those veterans have no idea that they have. A lot of veterans don't even know that they have an actual homeless program, which is, let me see, VASH, is it VASH HUD? Yes, HUD VASH. And here's the link for this. So I'll put this. Damn. That's what I said. I can't put it on. It's tough for me to put it on TikTok because I don't have the ability to put it on there. I should have been doing it through live through my computer, but I just did this one through my phone. But it's called the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development VA Supportive Housing Program. HUD-VASH is a collaborative program that pairs HUD's Housing Choice Voucher rental assistance with VA case management and supportive services. These services are designed to help homeless veterans and their families obtain permanent housing and access the healthcare, mental health treatment, and other supports necessary to help them improve their quality of life and maintain housing over time. Hey, Plot, if you got a DD-214, you can still apply for benefits. That's all I'm saying. If you got your DD-214, you can apply for benefits. Now, if you didn't get a DD-214, then it's different. But if you got a DD-214 and it says you're a veteran, you can apply for benefits. So the other question was from Carlos was, when veterans are discharged, do they not educate them? So I'm going to tell you this. There is a program that they call it now, which is called Soldier for Life Transition Program, which is something that veterans or active duty service members, when they are planning to leave the military, they go through this programming. A lot of this shit does not get explained. The VA part definitely does not get explained. I went through that program and I went through the VA the VA portion, which is like a day class, they go over stuff and they highlight certain stuff. And it was just like, hey, if you have any disabilities, make sure you get your medical record and just file for those disability claims. That's basically all I got. They don't tell you like, hey, you can go to Title 38, Chapter 4, Part 1, and look at what the actual schedule of ratings is and what percentage you get off of what ailment and how bad the ailment is. I didn't know about that. I had to research that. I didn't know about the vocational rehabilitation and employment one, which is basically for you to gain employment, they will send you to school so you can obtain better credentialing or stuff like that. I didn't know about that one. I just started using my GI Bill because that's the one I did know about, because that's the one that most people know about when they join the military. Hey, you join the military, you will gain your GI Bill and you can use your GI Bill. You can actually use the VRE program, which is basically the same thing. So right now, as I'm doing my master's, I could have been doing the vocational rehabilitation and education thing to obtain basically obtaining employment as a public administrator through the VRE and use it. And they would have been doing the same thing, paying for my school and also paying me a stipend monthly instead of me actually using my GI Bill. Another thing that people don't get told about is the transferring of the GI Bill. In order to transfer the GI Bill, you have to transfer it. You have to give up 4 years. So basically, let's say you sign up for your first contract and you do your 3 years. In order for you to be able to transfer it to your spouse or any dependent, you would have to sign up for another 4 years to do it. I did 10 years in the military. I reenlisted twice. Nowhere was I notified about this till after I had already reenlisted. Otherwise, I would have been able to transfer it over to my kids. And when people don't know about it, it's Chapter 35, which is the Dependent Education Assistance Program. Your children, your dependent, your spouse, whoever has your GI Bill can use your GI Bill and they can still obtain a Chapter 35 monthly stipend while they're in school also, on top of each other. It doesn't cancel each other out. A lot of people don't know about that either. I was just like, there's programs out there to take care of veterans and make sure that veterans are not left in the street. Because like I said, that's the biggest issue I have is just like homeless veterans. But it's just like all this information is not readily available and not readily given to active duty service members when they're leaving the military. A lot of this is a find out for yourself kind of thing, because they just give you a gist of it. It's just like, oh, there's the VA. Make sure to file your disability claim. Do this. And after that, it's just like you on your own. Once you leave in the military, you on your own. Shit, there's a bunch of units that once you tell them you're getting out, they treat you like shit. They're just like, oh, he's a quitter. Nah, bro, I'm done with y'all dumb shit. That's the difference. It was just like they'd be like, oh, they're a quitter. Nah, I'm tired of the dumb shit. Yeah, they are doing a disservice to the active duty military, but it's just like that's what people don't understand. It's just like I got tired of the dumb shit. I was not about to do another 10 years of dumb shit, dealing with dumb people that just have rank and think they oversee and say something. Because the thing is, it's just like, hey, I was one that didn't stay quiet. I was one that spoke out for issues. I was the one that was always helping out that troubled soldier. I was actually helping them get right, get corrected, or not get screwed over when they were trying to take away or do something to them illegally. I was the one that was doing that. But then you know what I got labeled? I got labeled the troublemaker. I got labeled the misfit because I was actually helping people not get intimidated or not get overrun by stuff. Love says, June 2024 is the last letter I got from the local VA saying they are working on my claim. 30 days after, then they will make a decision. Still no word yet. Love, you gotta remember, when it comes to the VA saying that they're gonna make a... So I can highlight, see now this on YouTube, now I can do this. So now I can highlight, oh no, hold on, I picked the wrong one, whoops. I can highlight people's statements now on YouTube so now you can see it. So Love said in June 2024 is the last letter I got from the local VA saying they are working on my claim. 30 days after, and they will make a decision, still no word yet. It is now August 4th. And if you sent that in June, meaning that most likely you will get something, I'm hoping that you will receive a statement or anything in the next week or two. Because you got to remember, they say a month. That means that they're going to wait till the last day, and then when they send it out, it's their mail for some reason is the slowest damn mail ever, and it takes much longer to get to you for some reason. But that's one thing I've never understood with the VA. It was just like when they send you a letter and it's just like, oh, we're gonna do this, it takes longer. So I would say you should probably receive a letter within the next week or two. Any information basically pertaining to what happened, you should be able to get that within the next, I would say, next week or two. If that's not the case, make sure to call the VA within the next week, because you got to remember it's August 4th, and well, where are we at? August 4th is the weekend, so the first of the month was the first of Friday. So you might receive the letter, I would say, sometime this week. If you don't receive a letter sometime this week, make sure you make a phone call. Call the VA. Be like, hey, I'm supposed to get a decision. I was told this. I haven't received any. So that way you can get an update that way. Because most of the time, their answer is going to be, oh, yeah, it's in the mail. And what's most likely going to happen is that they're going to send it out that day you call. And then they'll date it like it was old or something. Their way of doing shit. Nice. Your rep sent additional medical records. Good. Because then you have more information to go off of. So you got to remember then if that has to be reevaluated also. If you're sending more information, it gets reevaluated. So when you send more stuff, shit changes. And it's just like time resets. The VA has a weird way of going about making sure things are taken care of. They do it in a very weird way. So that's something you gotta keep that in mind when that happens. It's just like, yeah, if you sent it, they're gonna reevaluate it and it take time over to do it. But like I said, there's a bunch of stuff. Okay. Yeah. That's a lot of things. A lot of the stuff here, like I said, there's a ton of information. Just here, I'll show you the HUD, the VA homeless program. It's on there. It's there. But the number of veterans is growing. So that's the problem. So something isn't working, and the VA and people are not going in depth and trying to figure out why it is that it's happening. And that's where we have to, put some feet to neck to get people to start getting motivated within the VA to actually get that fixed. Because that's the problem we're having, is that a lot of these veterans are not being aware. They don't know about these programs, and it's just like we don't have anything in specific that's out there for veterans to actually learn from. And that, I think, is the biggest issue. We have to make sure that veterans are being educated on all these processes, all these benefits, all these changes, because a lot of the things is like I said, there's a bunch of other channels on YouTube that highlight this information. There's a bunch of other ones that highlight this information, but a lot of the times it's a lot of more of a like scare tactic kind of thing, like, hey, you need to make sure you're doing this, you got to make sure you're doing this, and it's just like, but there's nothing in file basically saying that changes are gonna occur. They just try to like instigate people to do it. I got to request my workers that was over 20 years ago, and I definitely didn't keep anything. Hey, Plot. So even though your records were 20 years ago, you get your records and see what records you have on file. See what's in your records and see what issue you had. Whatever issue it is, if it got worse, the thing is, so Plot, what you're going to do is you're going to have to go, and you probably have a doctor now or a medical provider now. You have to make sure that you're going to that medical provider and getting diagnoses for anything that might have happened. So in the case of your case, you didn't have too much time, but whatever injury you may have gotten during that time period, that's something you need to claim. You can claim that. You might not be able to claim a whole bunch of stuff, but you may be able to claim whatever's on your record showing like, hey, this is an injury that happened. This is what it was. Now, if your injury got worse, you can file for a claim, because it was just like, hey, my injury has gotten worse. It's been 20 years, but my injury has gotten worse. But you need to have a diagnosis from a medical provider now saying it got worse. This is the reason it happened. This is the reason it got worse. And that's how you continue to do that. You basically have to start laying the groundwork for 20 years worth of time, which is usually through medical documentation from a medical provider saying like, yes, this is the injury he has. I've been seeing him for set amount of time. He's been prescribed this. You go to a chiropractor, you've gone to physical therapy, this, and that. And this is an injury that happened due to his time in his military service. And they write a nexus letter connecting that. And then that's something how you go ahead and file for it. Now, you got to keep in mind that a lot of the times you might have had that one injury that one injury may cause secondary issues. So it would be a secondary claim. So like if you got a back issue, like I said, your knees start messing up, you might get sciatica issues. That's a secondary issue to your back issue. So you have to have the back issue documented, but you got to remember at first you have to make sure the stuff is connected. So you have to make sure that your back issue is service connected in order to have your sciatica and your knees and your ankle being connected to that. Because that's what a lot of veterans, I think, forget. It's just like, you have to have something service connected first before you can start claiming secondaries for that action. You can't say it was just like, oh, my sciatica and this is bad because of my back. But then if they say your back wasn't part of the military, then it's just like, well, neither was your knee, your sciatica. You see what I'm saying? So that's the tricky part that a lot of veterans don't understand also. You got to make sure something is connected first. Whether that means you have to file, but you can file it all at the same time and just be like, hey, but you got to make sure, like, hey, if you're filing it all at the same time, you need to make sure that your back issues is plain as day service connected. No issues, no way. Like I said, with the video I made, you have to make it without a doubt that your injury and what you're dealing with was caused through military service. If you cannot make sure that happens, that's when you start going through the legwork of having to deal with even more issues on top of more issues, because now the paperwork has to get, the file just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and you have to keep on trying to find more information to help yourself out. But like I said, in some cases, it's just that, hey, these people just deny the claims because they don't know any better. Like I said, how we started off the topic today, that it was just like a article saying that there's over 100 million like 100 million was overpaid to like with the VA. And it's just like, that's an oversight where veterans were being tested on, done a compensation and pension exam, and some of them weren't necessary. Some of those examinations were not necessary, but they still made them happen. Some veterans, they made an error and they might have basically approved an issue that they had when they weren't supposed to. Some of them, it was just like, hey, you contracted somebody to make sure they're a medical doctor, and now that person sees them and they don't really see him, or there wasn't a need for them to see him. There's a lot of stuff that goes into $100 million, them trying to figure out where it went. But the thing is the issue is that a lot of people will just be like, oh, Mary Beth, thank you for liking the live. Said the VA said the board could not make a decision because of the error. And not, like I said, that's the issue with the VA. The VA is not holding itself accountable for the issues that it's dealing with. So you mean to tell me that something happened because of the VA, but the VA can't fix it? You see what I'm saying? Like that's the issue that a lot of veterans deal with. It was just like, you're telling me that the VA acknowledges they messed up, but they don't know how to fix it. They just, that, you see what I'm saying? Like it's hard to get that explanation in there because the VA doesn't understand itself, is basically what you're telling me. So you're basically telling me that we are going to an entity that does not actually understand or can correct the error that they made. That's a problem with the system. That's something that has to be fixed. You can't just tell me that you made an error, you acknowledge you made the error, and then it was just like, we can't make a decision on it because of our error. What? Like in what place does that actually make sense? And people just don't realize that, and people don't understand that. But like I said, it's just it sucks that veterans, spouses, dependents have to deal with such issues with the VA and always have to continuously fight to make sure that we are getting the right benefits, or we are getting approved for our benefits, or we are getting what we earned through military service. So it's just, it's difficult to deal with the VA. And then the thing is like, it's funny because I just did a paper on this. The continuity of the VA is what causes issues, because the VA doesn't have any continuity when it comes to the administration. Like, you have people that are in charge of the VA, and then that person resigns after a couple of years because they're like, look, this is a shithole. I'm done. Another person takes in. So, because I believe they just put another VA director in recently. Now, that person's going to be in place. Now, when either Harris or Trump wins this election, they're going to probably put somebody else new in there that they handpicked to run the VA. Now, as you see with like the Project 2025 stuff, it was just like, there's stuff that can benefit veterans and there's stuff that's going to take away stuff from veterans. That's in there, and that might get implemented depending on how Congress votes on it. So at the same time, it's just like, what are we going to do if there's no continuity? You don't have the same people. It's never the same thing. And the issue is just like, there's one thing I know a lot of Trump followers say. It's just like, oh, Trump gave veterans the ability to pick where they go and get assistance, right? What they failed to mention is just that is a great thing. Don't get me wrong. Trump doing that is a great thing. The issue at hand is that you may be able to obtain care somewhere else. So you can pick where it is, but you have to get a referral for it. The VA must not be able to take care of you for you to be able to go to an outside entity. It's not that, oh, you could just go to the VA and be like, look, I have this issue. I want to go here. I don't want to talk to you about it. No, you have to go through the VA, and the VA is basically stating, yes, oh, you want to go to a chiropractor for your back issues. Okay. They look into the system. They see how far you are. I was like, damn, this person drove like 2 hours to get here. Okay. Well, we have a chiropractor here. It's a 2-hour drive, but we have a chiropractor here. And we're just like, but since he doesn't have availability, we'll allow you to go and serve yourself and take care of yourself. What up, Beard? At a outside facility. The issue being with that is you're getting that from an outside facility, but then it's on the authorization through the VA. So like for myself, Beard, with all the gifts, appreciate you, my man. I appreciate you. Veteran, we doing veteran affairs, Beard King. I do this every Sunday. This is what I do. Veteran knowledge, entitlements, benefits, just helping veterans take care of themselves and be better off at the long end by knowing the stuff that they need. But that's the thing. It was just like for myself, I have to go because I've had issues now because I still have a tear in my hip, which hasn't been taken care of. But then I went to the VA. I spoke to my oh shit. I spoke to my provider, and I basically telling them the issues I had. And they were just like, oh, since you still have that, oh, well, we're going to get an MRI. We're going to do this. And it was just like, oh, but we're going to send you to a podiatrist. And I was just like, okay. And they were just like, oh, we'll put in the referral for you, Beer King. Appreciate you, my man. We're going to put in the referral for you for podiatry. I was just like, the VA is going to contact you to make, your appointment. I was just like, okay, cool. So I get a phone call from the VA. It was like, hey, we received your referral for the VA. And literally this is what she said. She was like, well, we were going to make an appointment for you here, but this VA facility does not have any podiatrist because of the fact that they retired and the VA has not hired anybody else. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to put this as a community care thing. So where are you from? Oh, this city. Okay. These are the different ones we have available. So we'll send you and we'll contact them so that they contact you about making the appointment and stuff like that. So it was just like I didn't really get to pick where I went. It was literally whoever's in the network of the VA. So like I said, that's another part of that people don't understand and don't make mention of. It's just like, yeah, you're able to go to care outside of the VA, but the care has to be within the VA network. You just can't go randomly to whatever doctor it is. If the doctor is not associated or in the network of the VA, they don't I wouldn't say that they wouldn't cover it, but you have to go through the stuff to basically make it like, hey, I want to go here to do it. Cause then you're probably gonna have to file more paperwork to get that to happen. Cause it's just like, well, they're not in network, so we'll do this. We'll send an invoice to them. They have to let us know what it is that they're doing, how it is that they're doing it, and they send us the invoice. And then from there, so it goes, you can do it, but it's a lot more paperwork. But then it's also depending on if the VA feels like, hey, we got the person to do it. We'll pay you, we'll reimburse you for mileage, even though it's a 2-hour one way, 2-hour back. So 4 hours just to get seen for like 20 minutes. Sometimes I don't think that's worth it. But like I said, that's stuff that people don't understand. It's just like, yes, Trump did a great thing by doing that. You get care from outside. The thing is you still got to go through the process of doing it, and it's not as clear cut because they have to be in your veteran network, in the VA network. If they're not, you have to go through the process of getting them into the network to see if they approve. Because some doctors will do it. If they're smart, they will, because that's easy money that they'll get. But mandatory to recognize the veteran's child of VA benefits purposes is reminded. Military Mike, what is up, my man? He said remand entitlement to recognition as the veteran's child for VA benefits purposes is remanded. Remand entitlement to. So that's the letter that they sent you, love? Okay. Yeah, because that's the thing. It's just like certain things they say and certain things they don't. And that's the issue. How you doing, Mike? How's your Sunday? And it's just like I said, there's stuff that the VA does that they can't properly explain. They can't properly let people know. And that I think is just, yo, Jason, thank you for the cap. Bearded, thank you for the gifts also. I appreciate all of y'all. But yeah, that's the thing. It's just like people need to understand that it's just like the VA does a lot. There's a lot of stuff that is helpful. There's a lot of stuff that isn't helpful. There's a lot of stuff that people are not being held accountable for, and that is the issue. Like I said, I just did a paper on. I just turned it in this weekend, on that, talking about the accountability, the continuity, and the researchability of the VA and how it's faltered and how it needs to be updated and fixed. Because the continuity, like I said, I get to see a chiropractor here in town, but that's because of the authorization. So I have to go through the authorization for them to see me that way. If they were to say, hey, we got an open availability and thing, we would like you to come to the VA facility to get help, then it's just like, but I was just seeing this person the whole time and you want me to change it? Yo, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. See, those are the good time moments where it's just like somebody comes in and be like, look, man, I wanted to tell you I made 100% P&T. Congratulations, my man. Congratulations. That's what I like to see when I do these. I love to see that. Somebody comes in and be like, look, man, I made it to 100% P&T. Let's go. Nice, Mike. That's great. That's great fucking news, man. That is good. Hey, man, you don't got to thank me, man. I'm just here to help. That's all it is. I'm here to help veterans as best I can. Hold on, I'm see what the. Did you know if you don't have a disability percentage in the VA helps a veteran? I don't know about that one, Lupe. I've never heard of that situation. That's it. Makes no sense. Hold on, I got two things. So see, I have something now that I can pop up your question or your statement so that people can see it. So this is what Raleigh says. Raleigh says makes no sense why they don't issue you your C file when you get your decision letter. Wouldn't this help with the appeal process? So my answer to you, Raleigh, is just like, do you really think these people want to make it that easy? Because that's one thing I've never understood when it comes to the VA. It was just like, why don't we get our C file once we got out? Or just like it should be sent with it every single time. They don't do that. They don't send you the C file. That's something that they could do every single time. But would it be that easy? It's that easy because sometimes I've heard people get it they get it on a disc. It was just like, no, we need you to request it. The same way that the VA does disability claims. You have to actually file for a disability claim for the claim to actually be done. Otherwise, the VA just puts their hands back, which is like, nope, I ain't see that. I didn't see that part. I didn't see that happen. So that's what you got to remember. That it's just like, that's what happens. That's what they do. They could go ahead and file and show that, but they don't. And that's where we run into that issue. So Love got all the OSA. Said OSA and urinary incontinence got me over the hump. Mike, I told you, man. I was just like, I told you that was gonna happen. I told you were gonna get that. Lupe, like, I'm also I'm doing TikTok and YouTube at the same time, so I'm getting questions on both sides. So, so you got okay. So Love says Agent Orange and radiation exposure from my father's death, and I am seeking accrued benefits from my father. Okay, and that's what got remanded. And then I got Lupe over here saying that it happened to his dad that he was a Korean War vet without a percentage and they took all their stuff. Now, Lupe, can you explain how you want to say that they took all of their stuff? Jason says, my chain of command made sure my VA was completed before letting me medically retire. Jason, you had a great damn leadership. I'll tell you that much. You had some outstanding leadership. That's the leadership all service members should get. But I can assure you, a lot of service members, when they say, hey, I'm getting out of the military, they get kicked to the curb. They get put on these shit ass details. They get put in these shit ass places, or they don't get given the time. Those are the soldiers that end up like, hey, we're going out to the field. Like, bro, I'll process in a month. Yeah, but you just going for 2 weeks. Bro, I'll process in a month. No, we're just going to send you to the field for 2 weeks. Yeah, that's what I said. Most don't get that attention. A lot of don't get that attention where it's just like they don't help them actually do it. So that's why it's just like I do these because it's just like this actually helps people do it. But need to follow if you know what I mean. But I requested it 2 weeks ago just because. Raleigh, if you're requesting your C file, it's good to have it. Do you need it all the time? No, but at the same time, it's just like it's good to have. The issue is just like, look, the VA has the issue where you can get your letter back. Lupe, you need to go and contact the VSO about that because if you're saying that they took stuff away and stuff like that, if your parent was the service member and they passed and they were 100%, in order for you to claim the DIC, which is the indemnity dependent claim, you have to go through a VSO, which will probably help you through that better to show that the person passed away because of something service connected. If they are service connected when they pass and they died because of that, then you can receive the payments. if they passed away for something that was not service connected, it makes it difficult for you to do it. And look, on YouTube, I have Love, which is a person that's been here, and they're going through that process as we speak right now. He said, "I'm in the club. I was just curious what's on mine." It was just like, Rowley, it's good to know what's on your file. It's good to seek and look at your file, because then it's just like you know what's in there, what's not. The thing is just like a lot of the times veterans don't bother to do that. But like I said, like when you receive your benefit letter, that's what I was gonna say earlier. When you receive your benefit letter, there are parts in that letter that basically say, oh, this is not service connected, but we found evidence providing the about what you claimed. And I'm just like, hold up. So you mean to tell me that you found something in the evidence saying that it corroborates what I'm claiming, but you still said it wasn't service connected? Houseway. How y'all get to that point? How did Danica, can you, what do you mean? My father's files was 7. Yeah, if you got all them files and you got all that stuff going there, that's a big thing. You got to make sure that's it sucks, but you got a lot of paperwork to do it. But it's just like all those zeros. It's just like we found evidence, but it's just service connected. How? If y'all found evidence and the stuff shows it, that means that I have the issue, but y'all just saying the service connected and didn't give me an actual percentage rating on it. Like, how do y'all make sense? Danica asks, hold on, let me put this on screen. So question is if my medication for depression is working properly, will I lose my rating? Hold on, I'll do that. I'll do that again. Let's do this one. So if my medication for depression is working properly, will I lose my rating? Sorry for the typo. So when it comes to medical ratings, when it comes to mental health evaluations, the issue at hand is that some of these issues will become worse and some will not. If you have medication for it, it means you may be getting better. So they may decide to reevaluate you for it because of the fact that it's getting better. So that's what you have to understand that. But the thing is just because you are on medication does not mean that the issues you are dealing with are gone. Because the thing is you can be on medication, but you still don't want to go outside the house. You don't go outside the house. You don't really socialize with people. You're a homebody. You don't want to go outside. You don't do any fun activities and stuff like that. The ailments and the stuff can be there. Your medication can just be alleviating some of it. Doesn't mean that it, like, what people need to understand is like, just because you got medication for something does not mean that you are going to get cured. None of the stuff gets cured. Now, does it get better? Possibly. Is it a sure thing it's getting better? Not necessarily. So that's something that people need to understand. So Jason says MedBoard took 2 years. So that's what you need to understand. So you might get reevaluated in that scenario. But that's also like you have your documents. If you already have your rating for it, you're gonna get your rating for it. Most of the time, evaluations don't re-happen again unless there's like drastic improvement on what's going on. Now, if there's drastic improvement where you were a homebody that didn't go out and now you out in the club partying and all that stuff, and it's just like, that's a big improvement. If you go and you're talking to your therapist and they showing like, hey, you are dealing with massive improvements because of it, that's something that goes into your file. So they may want to reevaluate you. But at the same time, in order for you to lose your rating, you have to go through another C&P exam. So if you're going to get a... Yeah. And that's what, like Mike said, The fact that she is getting treatment for it goes a long way. Hypothetically, without the medicine, she would probably be worse. So basically, the VA is acknowledging you have depression that you're dealing with. They're giving you medication to try to lower it. Because the thing is if you didn't have that medication, you may have had a higher rating. You see what I'm saying? So that's the VA's way of trying to be preventative of not having your rating increase because of that. Because the thing is if you're not on medication, your stuff might get worse. Or your rating might increase. The VA ain't trying to have anything increase. The VA is trying to make sure that whatever rating you got stays at that rating or gets better. Plain and simple. They don't change that. Jason, you got like I said, if your med board took a long time and your chain of command actually helped you for it, that's great. My father's Alzheimer's study from the VA hospital who was exposed to radiation and in my father's case it's a wrap. Oh, it's your case that's being held up. Okay. Yo, OG chef. Like I said, y'all, I'm doing this. I usually don't, but I'm doing it on TikTok and on YouTube. On YouTube, I have it via mobile and I have it regular big screen so you can watch it on TV, computer, and I'm also on TikTok. So I'm still trying to find a way to be able to incorporate all these messages so that literally all y'all can see all y'all messages. Once I figure that out, it won't be me reading from one chat and putting it into another and stuff like that. I'm trying to do the best I can, but like I said, it's just still relaying information to try to get to any veterans that have questions and stuff like that. But like I said, if you are being medicated for anything through the VA, they want to do that because the thing is they know it can get worse or it's some way of preventative. Because you can get medication for blood pressure. You can get medication for depression. You can get medication for migraines. You can get medication. You can get muscle relaxers for stuff like that. You can get all that stuff there, and that doesn't mean that your rating is gonna go down. It's basically they know it's just like, well, this person's dealing with the shit, and it's just like, let's do that. Yo, military Mike with the $80, bro. You are wild, bro. My man. Thank you for military Mike made an $80 donation and he put, thank you for all the good information you are putting out. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. And again, congratulations to military Mike for reaching the 100% PNT club. Got to make sure those are the best. Like I said, those are the best moments when people come in here and after me helping them, they let me know that they made it there. That's what I love to see. I appreciate you, Mike. I appreciate you. But yeah, that's what it is. It's helping veterans out. Some like what people need to understand is when it comes to filing for disability and stuff like that, you got to think outside the box sometimes. You got to think of stuff that you didn't think of before. And sometimes you need So, love, you're just waiting on a clarification because you have the information there and you have it there, so you'll be good, and that'll show that there. You have that information basically showing that you're going through that review process. They messed up on the first part, so now you're just waiting for them to do that. So, with time, like I said, you've been fighting this fight for quite some time. You're gonna get there. But that's something you need to make sure you don't worry about too much. You have all your ducks in a row. It's just time to actually get that to happen. That's it, really. Once that happens, you'll be fine. But yeah, that is just information. And like I said, when it comes to it, like having multiple veterans jump in and ask questions and stuff like that, it's easy to educate another veteran. And sometimes you educate more than one veteran when you're giving knowledge. But it's at the same time, it's just like you got to recognize that a lot of the stuff that you are filing, you're not the only one that's filed this. You're not the only person that's going through this situation. There's multiple people that have filed for sleep apnea. Ask them questions. How did you file? How did you go about it? what documentation did you provide? And it's just like for sleep apnea, it's simple because once you get that, yeah, that's what you're waiting on. Once that goes, that'll be good. But that's the thing. A lot of people don't recognize that. It's just like you are not the only veteran going through this situation. There's other veterans out there, and it's just like you being able to tell your story and you being able to talk to other people allows you to see that information and allows you to acknowledge it, because then now people can see, like, you know what? Okay, this person dealt with this, and just ask them questions. The thing is it's difficult because the thing is there's no like there's certain pages, because I know there's a page on Facebook that is just like for veterans and stuff like that, and people just resort to it and talk to it. The problem I have sometimes is like with some of these forums, it's just like the information can be misinterpreted or it can be stated in the wrong way, and it leads a veteran down the wrong aisle. Like there's certain people that'll answer one question and you will have like 50 different answers, and some of them will start arguing within each other to try to help each other. Also, sleep apnea, you got it diagnosed while on active duty. Yep, that's like I said. If you have the stuff diagnosed and done through there, all you need is that documentation. And once you have that documentation, it's there. In certain cases, you do need a rep. Certain cases, you do need a rep to get the stuff done. Black Power comes in and says, "Hey, Cruz, I got my SSDI. Let's fucking go." Man, y'all doing good today, man. Y'all making this stream good. I got one person joining 100% PNT. I got one person getting the SSDI. Man, this is a great fucking day. This is a great day. It's a great damn day. Y'all giving me some good. This is a great damn day. Everybody winning today. I like hearing that. I like hearing when everybody's winning, especially when veterans are winning. I like hearing that. I like hearing that. Mike, like I said, you don't need to thank me, man. Y'all don't need to thank me. Y'all don't need to thank me. I appreciate y'all because y'all decided to serve along the same way I did. And the thing is I'm just happy that y'all receiving the benefits y'all earned. That's all. And if I can help you along the way, I'll help you along the way. That's all it is. I appreciate y'all for tuning in, asking questions, and helping me educate other veterans, and y'all educating other veterans also with your questions or your idea process and stuff like that. Like I said, for a lot of stuff, veterans just need to think outside the box. They need to reference stuff in different ways. They need to see things in different ways, and stuff that, like I said, a lot of the times it's veterans not knowing how to connect things or how to put this idea with that idea. I am a member of the VFW. I need to check my damn membership. I need to check. Cause I know I was paying monthly, but then I signed up to do like the for life one. And I keep on receiving the letters, so that's why, like, through email, but I haven't received anything else. So I don't know if they got my update. I got to check with them, see what's going on. Because what I do have is, like, nearby, I have an American Legion office by there. But the BFW I joined while I was in Germany. I was talking about that earlier. It was a little old man. That little old man was like 80 something, Dan. And he came. Was it Dan? I think it was Dan. And he came around and he would just ask. It was he saw a combat patch. He was just like, "Hey, man, did you know you get your student loans discharged with SSDI?" I did not know that you got them discharged with SSDI. I do know that you can get them discharged when you're 100% PNT. That, which leads to Mike, military Mike. If you have school loans and you are planning to go to school, do not get your loans discharged. Defer the discharge. Because then you can literally go to school, take out loans, finish your school, then have those loans discharged, then use your GI Bill or your the VRE program and get your master's, PhD, or any other certifications you need that way. Keep that in mind. I didn't realize that till after the fact. Because right now I could have been getting my master's degree and using it and just gotten school loans to do it. Then had my school loans wiped out because I'm 100% PNT after the fact. And then I would have been able to use my GI Bill with no issue and the VRE program on top of that. But then also with the VRE program, sometimes it wipes out the time you used in your GI Bill, depending on the criteria. It's a certain criteria that it fits, and that I have to look into. But like I said, that's a bonus. So like I said, Black Power, hey, you don't have to worry about going to school. You said you didn't want to go to school. Like I said, it's a check. You just put that to your grandkids or your kids, and just like go to school, get educated on something, and just save that money up. The name of the tuition waiver in Texas is called Hazelwood. Yeah. So y'all get, I believe 100% PNT in Texas don't pay for school. Or it's some stipulation around there, something like that. That you get a waiver for school. It was just like I said, Texas has a lot of resources. Texas is one of those states that gives a lot of opportunities and a lot of benefits. Oh, no, all veterans? Oh, shit, I didn't even know that. Time to move, bro. Like, it's time to move. So, Lolo, you're a DAV lifetime member. So you're a lifetime member. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. So lifetime. So Military Mike says, yeah, I'm a lifetime member of all three. Our VFW building is like the coolest bar. I don't drink, but it's a cool, chill environment with camaraderie with free Dr. Peppers. Hey, those go a long way. And then Love says DAV lifetime member, but I use a rep outside of the DAV and I get the DAV magazines. Like I said, all these programs, and that's the thing. It's just like all these organizations, like what I wish, maybe with time in school and getting this public administration degree, maybe getting a PhD, I could try to find a way to get all these damn nonprofits to work as one fucking entity and put all the veteran nonprofits under one umbrella. You still have your differences, but you still fall under the same umbrella. So it's just like a one-stop shop of, hey, the VFW offers you this. Well, I'll sign up for the VFW here. American Legion does this. Sign up for that. DAV does this. Sign up for that. But just have it so that everybody, because that's, like I said, the biggest issue we have as veterans is knowledge and getting information out. So if we were able to have a whole organization that basically lets you know, hey, look, these are all the veteran nonprofit organizations that service veterans. This is a list of, and this is the stuff that they provide. Military Mike, before you go and try to use your GI Bill, talk to the vocational, hold on, VRE. Let's pull it up on screen, because there we go. Main share screen so I can show y'all. I don't know how small that is on mobile. It probably looks kind of small. TikTok, if y'all want to check out what I'm showing people, go onto my bio, click on the YouTube link, and I am live on YouTube so y'all can see what I'm actually showing the YouTube people. So the veteran readiness and employment. The thing that kills me about these like links through the VA is just like some of these just look so out of date that it's just like, bro, when was the last time y'all updated this? See, because that's another link. This is the actual one now. So this is it. Basically, go through here. Check this out, veteran readiness and employment. So basically, if you're trying to go to school and you want to obtain anything school-wise, go through the VRE first. Because if it's something that's related to a type of employment that you want, it's basically a GI Bill, but through the readiness employment program, because they will pay for your school or the credentialing or whatever it is to help you get employed in that job sector or whatever it is. I was like, you may receive veteran readiness and employment, formerly known as the vocational rehabilitation. Also, it's veteran readiness now. I keep saying vocational rehabilitation because that's what I'm used to saying. Services to help with job training, education, employment, accommodations, resume development, and job seeking skills coaching. Other services may be provided to assist veterans and service members in starting their own businesses or independent living services for those who are severely disabled and unable to work in traditional employment. To learn more about the program, here we go. I'll put this link in the chat. So I believe it sends it to both. Does it send it to both? It just sends it to one. Okay. There we go. So that's if that's two different things, Mike. Two completely different things. And that's what, like I said, I didn't know about the VRE till after I started using my GI Bill. But literally you can use this to basically go to school, get BAH, get whatever education you want. Like, hey, you want to go get, like I explained this earlier today also. If you want to go and get a bachelor's degree in cybersecurity, because you want to get a job in cybersecurity, you talk to these people and they will pay for that cybersecurity degree. You use it, get your stipend, your monthly stipend and stuff like that. You do it that way. Then, hey, you know what? I want to get my master's degree in cybersecurity. Now you can use your GI Bill on top of it. So literally you're getting 2 degrees, not paying for any of them, and receiving BAH for both. See what I'm saying? Things like that is the stuff that veterans don't have any idea of, the possibilities and the stuff you can do with this. Because with the VRE, you can get your degree. You can, like I said, you want to become a plumber? VRE. Want to become an electrician? Yes. So use your VRE first. And then you can use your GI Bill on top of that. Same thing with now that you're 100% PNT. If you got a bunch of kids, once they hit 18, you can start with the DEA, which is the Chapter 35, and they can receive stuff. Love, that's where you might have an issue. They might not try to get you. They're gonna get you one of them, but they might not want to give you the benefits of your father. But then what they're gonna try to do is give you DIC payments. Now, what you could try to see is if they're gonna give you those DIC payments retroactively. That you may be able to ask for, but I see where they want to do that because they're gonna be like, well, it's not the case. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, the VRE, and I believe the VRE is one of those programs that you do not have to be 100% PNT. Let me see, because it has eligibility here. See, look, so this is the criteria. Basically, any veteran can use the VRE program. So here's the eligibility. You're eligible to apply for VRE benefits and services if you meet both these requirements. All of these must be true. You didn't receive a dishonorable discharge. What do you mean, Danica? Hold on. I love the fact I can do this now. So the question from Danica is, does the VRE strategy apply to me also? So I'm gonna just go over. This is on the va.gov site. I put the link in the chat. This is basically showing, hey, if you are a veteran, am I eligible for veteran readiness and employment? So this is the breakdown. All of these must be true. You didn't receive a dishonorable discharge, and you have a service-connected disability rating of at least 10% from the VA. When we receive your VRE application, we'll schedule your initial evaluation with a vocational rehabilitation counselor. The VRC will determine if you're entitled to receive the VRE benefits and services. Also, if you were discharged from active duty before January 1st, 2013, your basic period of eligibility ends 12 years from one of these dates. The date you received the notice of your date of separation, which is basically your DD-214 putting that, or the date you received your first VA service-connected disability rating. So basically the day you exited, which is your ETS date, or the first date you received your first disability rating. So that first letter you got stating, hey, there's your disability rating. And you could use it that way. So basically, this is how you would go again, and this is the criteria. This is also for active duty. You may be eligible for VRE benefits and services if you're a service member and you meet at least one of these requirements. You have a 20% or higher pre-discharge disability rating, memorandum rating, and will soon leave the military. Or you're waiting to be discharged because of a severe illness or injury that occurred while you were on active duty. So this would probably reference those being med boarded. So basically that's what you have there. And that's the explanation. So you can use it in that way. So Danica, it's okay. She says she has a tough time putting words together. Trust me. Sometimes I have problems putting words together and actually getting y'all this information out. But the runs for everything. I have to win my first to get my father's accrued benefits. The DAV never did the research like the rep I have now. Like I said, not all these VSOs are great. They're not all great. I was just looking into HUD-VASH not that long ago. Put it as HUD though. See, that's the thing. I can't pull up the questions from TikTok and put them on screen. I'm still trying to figure out how to do that. Once I'm able to do that, I'll be good. People are sending me like co-host things. I was just like, not at this moment. So let me see what let's see. So there's two different there's a veterans homeless chat, which is 24/7 online support. If you go to this link, I can't put the links on damn TikTok. That's the only problem. If you're on the YouTube, I can put the link there for the HUD-VASH thing. I'll put that in here so that people will have it. And basically you would have to call to get that started. So anything to do with HUD-VASH and you have to call them because they'll go through the program to basically try to get you permanent housing. So it goes through like the voucher system and they try to get you into a home that way. Okay, let me see. Question was asked by Military Mike. Question is just cruise, do you ever go on any military base? I know that's a benefit you have. So when you go to any military base, you're gonna get your ID. You have to register through the base. Most of the time, if you're 100% and retired, you don't have to renew it. If you are just 100% PNT, you have to renew it annually. But this is something that each installation does. So whenever you go to like the visitors, because you no longer have your ID card, you have to sign up and that'll give you access. From there, you are able to go on into the commissary, make purchases at the commissary, or you can go into the exchange and make purchases at the exchange. Now, depending on the installation, some of them may have other stuff for veterans, like maybe veteran programs or whatever the case. There, I'm not too sure of what specifically they have. But when it comes to having those benefits, you can go on base. You can purchase stuff at the commissary. You can purchase stuff at the exchange, which is without tax. So those are benefits that you can take care of as a veteran. Besides that, they opened it up to a lot of people to get on base as a veteran. But besides that, there's not much stuff per se that I would say is on top of that. But like I said, each place is different, so you have to check. Calvin, what up, man? Black Power here. See, okay, so now I can show you. So this is the page. I put the link up. I don't know if you can see it. It's the HUD-VASH.asp. That file is there. You can go and check on there, and then it has this. Because this is like I said, this is very limited stuff. It's just like if you want more information, you have to click on and do it that way. Learn more about administering like the vouchers. If you are a public housing agency, they basically give it. So like if you want to be a housing agency that does this for veterans, you could do that. If you're a landlord or property manager with rental units, you click on here. If you are a veteran seeking housing support, National Call Center, and they want you to call, because then once you call, they'll direct you to who you need to speak to, and then from there they set you up so that way you speak to a person directly that will be able to give you the information as to, hey, this is the person, these are the available locations here in your town or your city, or these are the landlords and stuff like that, so that way you can gain that information and then you can build from it like that. Because like I said, not every landlord is great, not every person that rents out a place is great, but then at least through the VA you can get that information ahead of time, and it's there to help assist you with that. Like it says, rental assistance with VA case management and supportive services. So basically, they don't like most of the stuff on the VA. Time and service, my time and service, or whose time and service? I'm confused. HUD VASH. It doesn't matter your time and service. If you're a veteran, you're a veteran. They see it as a veteran. If you're a veteran, basically you're gonna probably have to provide your DD 214 to show that. Military Mike. if Military Mike, what I do is on YouTube it is strictly veteran stuff. On TikTok though, whole different story. On TikTok I do talk politics. I don't have issues talking politics, but it's just like I just talk it because it's just like I've had some pretty crazy conversations, but I like to have dialogue with people on understanding why they want to vote some way or how they feel a certain way. And what I tell people is I'm not voting for either one of them. I vote for my local representation. I vote for my city council members, my city Congress, my state representatives, stuff like that. That's what I vote for, because those people have a bigger effect, or I can have a better voice speaking to them and trying to make changes through them. So like I tell people, it's just like, hey, we're going to raise up property tax because we want to build this brand new facility that nobody fucking wants. Well, no, I'm not voting for this. That's how I vote. The president and stuff like that, I don't give a damn which one of these two wins. Why? Because they don't do anything of the sort anyway. Everything goes through Congress. Your congressmen and women are the ones that create these policies, and then they go through the House of Representatives has to pass it, then the Senate has to pass it, then they jointly put it, and then they agree and disagree with what they want. So it goes through a lot, but the president has nothing to do with that shit except for grabbing all those like 15 pens and signing it. So it's just like on the YouTube, I just try to make it that it's just like, hey, this is veteran Q&A, veteran questions and stuff like that. I just decided to do it on TikTok also, just, because some people have questions there. And there's a bunch of vets on TikTok too. But it's just trying to get people the information and stuff like that. It's difficult at times, but when it comes talking politics, I do it on TikTok because it seems more entertaining for people there. But you also see a lot of recklessness when it comes to that. Said they affect agencies though. What affects his agencies? But that's what I lean toward my local representation. Yes, the president does affect agencies, and that's the thing. That's why it's just like, no matter, look, the way I see it is no matter what, no matter who's in charge of the VA, this shit needs a lot of fixing. It don't matter if it's Trump, it don't matter if it's Harris. There's a lot of shit that needs to be fixed within the VA that it don't matter. Like, look, if either one of these two doesn't think that shit needs to be fixed, it's a problem. One or the other is not going to fix it because their priority is not going to be the VA. It never has been. There hasn't been a president in any, I haven't seen any president in any capacity make it. They're just like, which candidate better represents veterans and benefits and So with that one, Danica, it's just like it's hard to give you an answer as to which one benefits. Because the thing is they always talk about, oh yes, we're here for veterans, we're here to assist veterans and all that. And it's just like it's difficult for them to answer because the thing is there's never an actual backing of when they make these statements. So you're saying that you're for veterans. I believe everybody should be. That shouldn't be something that shouldn't even be a talking point, to be honest. So when they start off with just like, I believe in veterans, that's something you're supposed to do, especially if you're the commander in chief of all the branches of service. You should be supporting us without a doubt. So when they make that statement, it's already like, Now, what represents better thing was just like, all right, it was just like, are y'all talking about cutting funding? Are you talking about enhancing funding? Are you talking about making changes that actually benefit veterans? That's where I get concerned with, because it's just like most of these, both of them are talking points are other than veterans. They'll mention it here and there, but there's never anything solidified about it. There's always just like, oh yeah, we'll work on fixing this. I was just like, yeah, Trump did that a couple of years ago to help with he was basically kind of like to start with this HUD-VASH thing with the program. But the thing is the number of veterans homeless are still increasing. Oh no, I've spoken on the Project 2025 about veterans. With Project 2025, let's get this. I'll say this. There's a lot of information there, and there's a lot of stuff in Project 2025 that can benefit veterans. Then there's a lot of shit that's gonna hurt veterans going forward. Because the thing is a lot of, so like one of the things that they talk about is they are trying to remove basically secondary conditions. So you see how some people have tinnitus, and their tinnitus becomes migraines, and their migraines becomes depression because of the issue, like how that's tied. So basically under Project 2025, that goes out the window. Why? Because they're trying to make it that anything that is not directly service connected does not get disability. So basically anything that you may try to connect as a secondary issue would be removed. And people don't understand that. People don't realize that, like, that's a big thing for a lot of veterans, because a lot of veterans, it's because, hey, I hurt my back, I got sciatica, my hip hurts now, my knee hurts now, my ankle. Basically through Project 2025, what they're saying is just like, oh, since you have that back issue, that's service connected, but your sciatica, your hip, your knee, your ankle, that wasn't part of the military, so we're not going to do that. Yeah, see, Danica, that's what a lot of people don't. A lot of people have not read that part. Like, I read the whole thing, like the whole section of it. The pages are the Veteran Affairs thing. It's called the Mandate for Leadership. You can just search that up. Raising taxes on the rich will put more money into the VA, but they ain't gonna do that. He's talking about making tax cuts to the rich and the corporations again, which has put us in the hole we're in now. But if you go, you can type up, you can search on Google Project 2025, or what it's actually called is the Mandate for Leadership. Conservative something, I forget but Mandate for Leadership 2025. You can search that on Google. When you go on there, the pages for the Veteran Affairs group is pages 641 to about 655, I think. So that you get, like, there's a whole bunch of other stuff. I didn't concern myself with the other stuff. I concerned myself with the veteran stuff. And I read that part, and I was just like, well, damn. So one of the things that they do want to do that I think is cool is just like, if you file a fully developed claim, so basically you file a claim with your documentation, all the necessary documents and everything in there, they're basically saying that you will get an answer within 30 days. Duniku. Oh, my bad. Sorry. I apologize. Duniku. I might forget that. I might just call you, is DeVille okay? I might forget that. Going through. Duniku. Okay. But that's something that they are trying to institute. But if you check that, It's just like, that's actually a pretty good thing, basically saying like, hey, if you file a fully developed claim, you will get an answer within 30 days. Black Power, thank you for stopping by, man. I appreciate you. Didi, okay, Didi. That I probably could remember that. But that's one thing that they are trying to say that they put in. And I was just like, you know what? That doesn't sound bad. You know, you got a fully developed claim, you'll get an answer within 30 days. The thing is just like, we can't get answers now. What are y'all going to institute that is actually going to change that? That is actually going to make it feasible to get somebody to get an answer within 30 days? Because the thing is how do we actually know it's a fully developed claim? They might send the documentation, but they may be missing stuff, or there may be an error in it. And then if it gets denied, what happens? Now you're just adding more stuff, a separate claim to it. But at the same time, it's just like, most people don't want to submit a separate claims. Why? Because then it goes back to the intent to file date. So basically, if you file today, August 4th, all those claims, whether they get approved or denied, you go through the appeal or whatever, it'll be August 4th, 2024. If you do fully developed claims and you do them separately, then it turns into each one of those claims will be looked at separately as a date. So if you get an increase in one, it might not affect the other ones because it might not be that big of a percentage of change. So that's something that people need to realize when it comes to that. It was just like a fully developed claim being done in 30 days. It could be multiples and all that stuff, but a lot of veterans do not have fully developed claims because the thing is they're still trying to obtain stuff, or it's a secondary issue or something like that that's being tied into a primary issue. But at the same time, if you can't file for any secondary conditions, that's a lot of veterans that are going to be having an issue because of the fact that they don't have the ability to file for a secondary condition. If you can't file for secondary conditions, you fall into that issue where you cannot file these things. You can't file something secondary. All it is, basically what they're trying to say is like, look, veterans are getting paid way too much for issues that were not directly caused by the military, which is kind of like a false statement, because the thing is just like, if I got an injury from the military and I have to overcompensate on another part or another limb, another joint or something like that, that is something that was directly caused because of the military. Because if I didn't receive that injury, I wouldn't have to overcompensate to make sure I was okay. So like I said, if I hurt myself on my left side, but my right side is now overcompensating because of the pain and stuff that I deal with on my left, they're basically saying it as, okay, you got injured on your left, we'll pay you for your left side, but whatever's going on with your right side, you got to take care of it on your own. So that's one of the main things there. But like I said, if you want to go ahead, Didi, you can go just type of Project 2025. It'll be mandate for leadership, the conservative something 2025. Look into it and see what it says on there. What does it mean when it says appeals team? That's what my rep. I'm not sure exactly what you mean, love, by that. You said, what does it mean when it says appeals team? That's what my rep put on the paperwork. He said, unless there's an appeal team that they're sending it to. Hey, Diesel. Appreciate you coming in. Appreciate you sharing the live. Yeah, so if it says it was for an appeals team, it's probably that's who they submitted it to. And that's who's looking at the documentation. Further than that, I'm not too sure exactly what it pertains to. What is appeals? Appeals is basically the appeal is basically you're submitting it and you're basically saying that whatever was founded was not correct. So the appeals team is basically, like they said, they might not have known that, like you said, when you were going through your situation, that they didn't recognize you as the son right away. That is something that you would have to appeal, because the first decision is basically saying that you weren't. you would have to appeal to show team. The appeals team, it could be a part of the VA, and that's who does the changes. They're the ones that might look at it, because you got to remember when it comes to reviewing, so basically, like when you file a claim, right? You file it, and the VA rater sees that. That's who gets that claim first. So now when it comes to the appeals, that's a separate thing, because it's like you have the higher level reviews, and there's the 3 different types. You get that. That's a whole different office, basically, because now the VA rater already did what they did. They saw it and was just like, no, we got to send it to this team now, because they're the ones that are going to see, was there malpractice? Was there something wrong? Was there something like that? Love, I'm not sure. In that case, I'm not sure, because the thing is if it's sent to the appeals team, it's a separate entity within the VA that now is looking at your stuff. So it's not like they don't keep the same people. Like, so when you submit any documentation to the VA, the first group sees it. Now, if they get the stuff wrong or whatever, and you decide to say, hey man, y'all wrong, I'm appealing it, or something went wrong or something like that, they send it to the appeals office thing, and they're basically taking care of it now. So they're looking at it like, hey, was there any issues ongoing? Was there something wrong and stuff like that? And then they make a determination. Now they can make the wrong determination, and then you're gonna appeal that again, and it gets sent back. Like, it's like a damn full circle sometimes when it comes to dealing with that. And that's where a lot of people don't know that. Yeah, so this time it went to the appeals team, so that means that they knew something was wrong, so now they have to verify. They're basically checking it to see that there was something wrong. Then it's probably going to get sent back, and then sent back to, like, I don't know. Like I said, the specifics for your case are very specific, and that's why I was just like, the good thing is that you have representation that's going to help you and assisting you through that, because that's what you need at this moment, because it's just like the back and forth stuff, it gets overwhelming for a person. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So if the remand is saying that, they're basically saying that they're appealing the decision that was made. So they're trying to check and verify that is like, so it's just like, you're going to get an answer. They're going to send it back. And if that's wrong and you appeal that, they're going to send it right back to another office within the appeals team to fix it or see and verify. If they find that it's okay, then they send it back. And then that person is going to be like, yes, it was okay. What we said was good, or what we stated was wrong. Like, it's a stupid back and forth that us as veterans shouldn't have to deal with. It should be a more straightforward thing. It still goes through the process, love. It's a process that it's ongoing, and they keep on changing it as it goes. I was like you said, you were supposed to get a letter. You're supposed to get a letter within a week or two. That letter might explain something, and then that letter might tell you, hey, you need to appeal this, or if you don't agree with this, you appeal this, and then you go through the whole motion all over again. You see what I'm saying? So, like I said, it sucks for veterans that we have to deal with stuff like that, because it's like a continuous cycle of trying to find information that is wrong. It is like, it doesn't mean that we're wrong. It means that they're wrong, but then at the same time, there's errors that are happening on both sides. So it could have been an error on their side. It could have been an error that the document you sent wasn't visible or wasn't readable. Like, there's so many different things when it comes to it, that's what makes it so difficult for us as veterans to know. Because the thing is we don't get the full explanation in detail of what the issue is. So it's like, it leaves us with questions. Like I said, when you get a disability ratings letter and it says, oh, we found evidence of this, but we did not give you a rating for it, or we did not find the service connected. I was just like, how does that make sense that you found evidence showing that what I'm claiming did happen during military service, but you're going to deny it and not put it on there because there's no clear-cut explanation for it. It's just basically, yeah, we found evidence, but it is not service connected. Like, how did you make that assumption, or how did you get that answer? I was just like, for some of them, I didn't even bother, and for some, you do. Yep, but it still has to go through the motion. Even though whoever says they made the error, it don't matter. They still have to go through the motion, check the documentation, check where the error was made, verify the error was made, then produce the documentation showing that the error was made, and then submit that back to whoever made the error for them to clarify the error. They have to fix the error. Then once they do that, then that gets submitted back forward. And you see what I'm saying? So it's like it's a long-winded issue to deal with the VA when it comes to fixing stuff and doing stuff. And it's just like you're left without getting that direct information because all this shit happens, but you don't get notified till you get a letter stating this is what happened, this is the change, this is how we updated this, and stuff like that. So that's how you gotta. It's a waiting game. Unfortunately, it's a waiting game. But if you got all your stuff like you do, it's just a waiting game at this point. Once you get your information, you'll see that you have everything processed, everything's good, and you won't have to deal about it. There's no timetable for that. There's no timetable for when the VA decides to fix shit. Like I said, people do higher level reviews and it takes years sometimes to get done. The VA doesn't have any urgency for any certain case. They never do, never have. Hopefully that's something that could change. Like I said, whether you're Democrat or Republican, whoever's in charge, maybe they do changes that can actually benefit these service members or change the process so that the process is expedited. But then at the same time, it's just like I said, with VA raters, sometimes some VA raters aren't educated enough and don't have the correct information and don't receive the right training, which falls back on the veteran because then that VA rater could have denied a claim or said, no, this wasn't part of it or this wasn't situation within it. And now that person has to go ahead and appeal, and then that becomes a 1 to 2 year process to get that fixed. So it's just like I said, when it comes to that, it's just like a waiting game. You just have to keep on fighting and making sure that they're doing something. So that's why sometimes in certain cases is good, but at the same time, you got to remember these people do deal with a lot of cases. In a month's time, they deal with a lot of cases. They see a lot of veteran stuff. They see a lot of veterans documentation here. They see a lot of, oh, this person did this wrong. This is wrong. Stuff like that. There's a lot of that information that veterans don't get to see. And they don't see because like I said, since last year, because the PACT Act came out in 2022, right? The amount of people that filed for PACT Act claims last year in 2023 of this time period, because it was August 9th of 2022 when the PACT Act got instituted. There was like about 750,000 claims that were put in. From 2023 to 2024, there's been almost another increase of 1 million disability claims filed. So all those claims have to be checked. The same resources aren't there. Some people quit, some people resign, they change it. There's no consistency, there's no accountability. So some people are just like, yeah, they got approved. Some people get denied, even though it's plain as day that they happened. And it's just like, yeah, and that's what I said, because the thing is the VA raters have a quota of how many people they're supposed to go through and do. So like I said, if they overlook stuff, who gets nobody, there's no, like, people ain't getting fired left and right, but at the same time, if you're making it that it's an inadequate time that you're telling this one person that they have to do, let's say they got to go through 50 claims a month. That's 30 days. They only work Monday through Friday. So you're down to like 20 something days. Then you take away the holidays. Maybe they working like 18 days a month. So in 18 days, you have to go through 50 different veterans claims. Go through them in depth, find all the stuff. I was just like, it's not that the shit, it doesn't add up. That's the thing that's just like people don't realize that and don't realize it's just like that's a lot of work to do in like 18 days. So basically, instead of having 4 weeks of work time, you only got like 3 weeks, less than 3 weeks to actually process claims, check documentation, make sure you're doing that. And then you have to make sure that you're hitting those 50 different people. So if that's 50 different claims, that means you got to go through at least multiple claims per day to make sure you have your stuff right. or at least so that you reach your thing. Well, see, in your case, you have a longer issue that's been ongoing. So that's why it's been looking at fast. But at the same time, it's still not moving fast enough. Because like I said, they don't have a supreme urgency to make sure everything is done for whoever it is. It could be, like you said, you've been dealing it from 2009. It's 2024. It's been 15 years. So clearly, they're not in a rush. But that's something that is just like, hey, maybe you talk to your state representative. Send a letter to your congressman. Send them a letter. Send your senator a letter. Both of them, send them a letter. Send whoever's in your House of Representatives. Send them a letter. Be like, hey, look, I am a veteran dependent and this is what I'm dealing with. Because the PACT Act was signed off on by a Democratic. The sponsor was a Democrat, I believe, or a Republican from the state of California. Tanako. Where is it? Did I get rid of that file I had? I had a file. Hold on. Nope, it should be in my hold on, let's see. I'm gonna try to find it. It's in my worksheet. I have my worksheet that I do. The Veterans Information Breakdown. Let's see who your California representatives are. So you have Representative Mark Takano, Democrat, which is in the House of, he's in the Veteran Affairs Committee. And then you have, oh no, that's all you have. So you have Representative Mark Takano. Oh no, you got three of them. So you got Representative Mark Takano, you have Representative Julia Brownlee, and you have Representative Mike Levin. So you have three different representatives in your state that you can reach out to. It's getting close because it don't matter. You can send them a letter. They can look into it and maybe it gets even sped up faster. But that's what you got to do. Like sometimes it's like you gotta use those resources, which is like, hey, you have House representatives in the House Veteran Affairs Committee that you can reach out to, which, like I said, is Mark Takano, Julia Brownlee, and Mike Levin. And you can ask them, and then, hey, maybe it helps, maybe it doesn't. I can't assure you it will, but it doesn't hurt to reach out to your representatives that are in the Veteran Affairs Committee to reach out about, like, look, I've been dealing with this issue since 2009. Give them a breakdown, explain to them, just like, look, I need assistance because I have not gotten an answer and it has been going back and forth and back and forth. And most of the time, a lot of those times, those representatives do that because you know why? For them, it's a benefit because it's like it's a feel-good story because it's a look, they can run with this on their next campaign. It was just like, oh yeah, I helped this service member's dependent get these benefits and stuff like that. They've been waiting for this long, and this is for them, it's just a reason, to do it. But like I said, Mark Takano is the one that sponsored the PACT Act. So, like I said, you have somebody that's actually trying to assist veterans and stuff like that, trying to do stuff, and that's always the best thing, especially if they're a committee member. That is always a big factor because they are doing stuff to make sure to help veterans. So in your case, that's something that, hey, you might just want to reach out to them and like, look, I'm a veteran dependent. This is what I want to do. This is how I want to go about it. But love, I've been going for 2 hours and 40 minutes. I'm going to call it a day. I might be on later on tonight as a little veteran late night huddle. That's what I think I'm gonna call it. Veteran late night. Let me write that down. And that's what we're probably gonna do. Appreciate everybody that tuned in, everybody that stopped by. Appreciate all the questions. shout out again to Black Power on TikTok for, or where's he at? Where's the name? Or Calvin McCarver, shout out to you for receiving your SSDI benefits that you got approved for that. Other shout out to Military Mike for a $80 donation. And also shout out to him for entering the 100% permanent and total club. And also thank you for being a member. Plot Armor, shout out to you for subscribing on TikTok. OG Chef, thank you for subscribing and being on TikTok. Beard King, thank you for stopping by, donating gifts. Love, thank you for stopping by. Didi, thank you for stopping by. Like I said, talk to your representatives, love. That'll probably make it move faster. But we'll call it a day right now. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna call it. As always, take care of one another. Look out for one another. Be good to one another. Love one another. Stay marvelous, y'all. On each side. On each side. Stay marvelous. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good rest of y'all Sunday. And I will keep y'all posted. I'll probably post a couple of these questions that were put up. I'll probably post them as different videos just as highlights. But keep that in mind. Appreciate y'all. Military Mike, again, thank you. Take care, my brother. Enjoy the 100% PNC. And like I said, if you got questions, man, you know how to get me. When you going live again, if it's not next Sunday, I might do a little like veteran hangout tonight. I want to do that because I know veterans don't go to sleep. So I know I could probably catch a bunch of veterans later on in the night. But if not, Sunday, you're a member, so I'll put on there, if I create a stream, you should probably get a notification. As long as your notification is on, you'll get a notification saying, hey, this live is going to happen on this day and stuff like that. So since you're a member, you get that priority and you get that notification. So but as always, I appreciate all of y'all. Y'all take care. Y'all be well. I'll catch you on the next one. We'll try to do another pop-up sometime during the week, but I'll definitely put that on there. I'll start scheduling it out so that people can see it. After this, I'll schedule out for next Sunday. I don't think I have anything going on, so it should be able to do it. And we'll do it like that, and we'll just keep on doing it like that. We'll keep on scheduling it out. Videos every Wednesday, the Did You Know Facts coming out, and I'm going to start creating more videos. A lot of them might be snippets of just questions people ask and me answering them. So that allows me to put more information out there too. But as always, I appreciate y'all. Y'all take care. Cruz signing